Chapter 2343. That was the truth. Time passed very quickly for cultivators. Night Sorrow and the people of the nine-domain world were caught up in troubled times and couldn't calm down. Tran Hung and the others had lived for 900 billion years. The blade of time was very sharp and could easily cut through them. In the blink of an eye, 100 years had passed. Then it's decided. The two clones will research battle skills and absolute arts. The main body will accompany the family. This is a good decision. Night Sorrow said with a smile. The main body won't cultivate. Do you want to hug your two sons? The heavenly concubine rolled her eyes at Night Sorrow. What are you thinking? I am very satisfied with my current life. I have a son and a daughter, and my parents are healthy. What can be better than this? Night Sorrow said. Read Z Novel XL for free forever. Oh right, the surname Yi is very rare. You are called Night Sorrow. Who is that Azura Empress Yi Tianxin to you? Is he your family's ancestor? The heavenly concubine suddenly thought of a question. Night Sorrow shook his head. Our Yi family's inheritance isn't long. We started in the heaven mystic world of the primal chaos realm. Later on, we were beaten until we couldn't take it anymore. Our family's ancestor tore open space and sent our descendants to the nine-domain world. We have only developed in the nine-domain world for tens of thousands of years. We are not a race from the celestial realm. So that's how it is. Then the Yi family is very powerful and has produced many talents. The heavenly concubine said. After chatting with the heavenly concubine for a while, Night Sorrow told the nine-domain origin body that if the heavenly concubine wanted to come, she could enter the soul-nurturing palace at any time. Heavenly concubine, I will let you enter the soul-nurturing palace to cultivate, but you can't pull out my soul-nurturing grass. Night Sorrow reminded the heavenly concubine. He was really afraid that the heavenly concubine would do something rash. Night Sorrow knew very well what kind of person the heavenly concubine was. She was very daring and was once one of the three great heavens of the demon-winged clan. She was a lawless person. After leaving the city in the sky, the heavenly concubine turned around and grabbed Night Sorrow's robes. How dare you doubt me? Who have I tricked? We can't let this matter rest like this. Let's go find uncle and auntie to discuss this matter. Don't. Who doesn't know that you're my family's VIP? My parents will believe whatever you say. I'm just worried about the soul-nourishing grass. Forget it, you can pluck it if you want. Night Sorrow sighed because when he returned home, no matter what the heavenly concubine said, his parents would say that he was wrong. It's fine as long as you know what's going on. The heavenly concubine flashed away and returned to her residence. Night Sorrow rested in Sky City. He didn't ask about the matters of the celestial realm because he knew that even if he didn't ask, Lin Piao Miao and the others would tell him. During the idle days, Night Sorrow would guide his children in their cultivation when he had nothing to do. Of course, there was also his grandson, Yi Zi. Other than that, Jing Yu and Lang Li would often come to City in the Sky. They were Yi Xiaoluo and Lu Yu's friends. Night Sorrow also admired them. As for Yi Tianxin's matter, it was still a secret in the celestial realm, so it wasn't announced. Yi Xiaoluo and the others thought that he was in seclusion. The nine-domain world was rapidly developing. The development of each faction was orderly. No one dared to challenge the authority of the Commander-in-Chief's residence because the Commander-in-Chief's residence was fair. Of course, there were conflicts between factions, but this was normal and not excessive. The Commander-in-Chief's residence wouldn't interfere. Survival of the fittest was the rule. There were more and more high-level cultivators in the nine-domain world. Some of the more talented cultivators had achievements. The nine-domain world was developing, and the will of heaven and earth was clearly released. The heavenly Tao's momentum was also very strong. This was also a characteristic of a great era. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, 2,000 years had passed. On this day, the Night Moon Dynasty and City in the Sky were decorated with lanterns and colored banners. This was the internal celebration of Night Sorrow's 3000th birthday. Night Sorrow didn't remember Night Sorrow, but Yi Wuyo and Yu Qing remembered their son's birthday. This was a big matter. This was a big matter for the Yi family. In fact, it was also a big matter for the nine-domain world. Yi Wuyo and Yu Qing knew that Night Sorrow didn't like to be ostentatious. Therefore, only the Night Moon Dynasty and city in the Night Moon Dynasty celebrated. However, the members of the God-slaying squad and Night Sorrow's brothers were all present. Brother 13, thank you for taking care of our brothers all these years. I thank you for this cup of wine. Perhaps the year we met was the turning point in my life. Qin Zhen handed a cup of wine to Night Sorrow with both hands. Qin Zhen, you are my first friend. When I was at my loneliest and most helpless, you were the one who stood by my side. The one opposite us was your cousin. Therefore, I should be the one thanking you. I will remember your brotherly love. Actually, what am I, Night Sorrow, most proud of all these years? It's the promise I made that year. Many years later, when we drink, all my brothers and sisters will be behind me. There will be no one missing. Night Sorrow picked up the cup of wine and drank it in one gulp. Everyone picked up their cups and drank with Night Sorrow. The Nine Regions world is developing very quickly. You guys should travel around the Nine Regions world. Everyone should know that the Nine Regions world situation was brought about by us. The outsiders also came because of us. I don't want to see unnecessary sacrifices and killings. Take care of as many people as you can. Do you all understand? Night Sorrow looked at the brothers of the God-slaying squad and said, Captain, don't worry. The Nine Regions world is our home. We will protect it well, Liang Yu said as he stood up. Yun Huang, Lei Bao, and Lei Zheng also stood up. Night Sorrow nodded. Actually, he was very relieved. He just drank some wine and reminded everyone that the God-slaying squad was now divided into people and regions to manage the Nine Regions world. For example, Liang Yu was from the South Li region. Now, he was in charge of the South Li region and was the region lord of the South Li region. Lei Bao was a little weaker because Wu Lingfei was the region lord of the East Xian region. He was the region lord but only the deputy region lord. Yun Huang was the region lord of the Grand Clarity region. However, he was under a lot of pressure because Night Moon Dynasty was in the Grand Clarity region. Long Jin didn't have any territory. He was currently in charge of the Qingtian region. It could be said that the God-slaying squad was monitoring all the regions of the Nine Regions world. After sending off the guests, Night Sorrow and his wives went to the top floor of the mansion to drink tea. Night Sorrow, how are you doing now? Lin Piaomiao asked. All these years, no one knew what cultivation realm Night Sorrow was at. Sometimes, his main body would also be in seclusion. The situation is very good. I can fuse my soul at any time. My Thousand Realms defense clone's advancement is too slow. The two clones have been studying it for a long time but there's no effect, Night Sorrow said. How many realms have you cultivated? Datura asked. Chapter 2344. Isn't it called the Thousand Worlds Defense Technique? Why can't it be used after reaching the 100 Worlds Defense Technique? Yang Lei asked in confusion. Ninth senior sister, the Thousand Worlds Defense Technique comes from the World Tree. What kind of energy does the World Tree contain? The source energy of the World Tree radiates an entire world. Naturally, it can support the Thousand Worlds Defense Technique. This is something we can't achieve even if we work ourselves to death. That's why cultivators can only reach the 100 Worlds Defense Technique. In addition, I feel that the main point of this technique is to pursue defensive power. The quantity isn't the key. The most important thing is that it can be used. Night Sorrow said with a smile. That's brilliant. Sikong Chuyu said. You're a bootlicker, a bootlicker. Yang Lei looked at Sikong Chuyu and said. Everyone couldn't help but laugh. This was the Yi clan. Everyone was very harmonious. Father, mother, aunts, This is some tea I got when I was traveling outside. It has a floral fragrance and is very comfortable to drink. Yi Lingxi took a wooden bucket of tea to the top floor of the mansion. Then quickly brew it. It won't be poisonous, right? Datura pointed at the teapot and asked Yi Lingxi to do it. Ants, it won't be poisonous. Even if it is, it won't be a problem for father, mother, and ants. Yi Lingxi smiled. After drinking the tea, Night Sorrow felt that it was good. Lin Piao Miao and the others also liked it. Yi Lingxi wanted to leave but Yang Lei stopped him. Your second brother and fourth brother have married wives. You have made a lot of bad friends over the years. Where are your women? I'm asking you, where is your wife now? Auntie, I'm still working hard. Yi Lingxi said in a low voice. What he feared the most was Yang Lei. She would really shout and scold him. I'll give you 2 years to get it done. Otherwise, I'll teach you a lesson. Yang Lei said. Lingxi, the higher a cultivator's cultivation, the harder it is to have children. Father's happiness is related to my relationship with your mother and aunts. It's also because of the 6 of you. So you have to think more about it. Night Sorrow said. There's already some progress. I'll hurry up. Yi Lingxi nodded. He knew that he had to pay attention to this matter. Usually, Yishang didn't have any requests for the siblings. But when he did, it was necessary. After Yi Lingxi left, Xueshi said. Lingxi has changed a lot. She used to be a loner. But now she's much more cheerful and has many friends. Night Sorrow nodded. It's good that they can live happily, Wuyo. Right now, no one can hurt them. Our family's children are all promising. Besides, the 9 regions world is enough for them to survive. They don't need to run to other worlds. 13. When will our 9 regions world become a true supreme world? Qing Ji asked. It's hard to say. There can only be one supreme world. This is the law of heaven. Before the celestial realm ends, a second supreme world won't be born. Actually, it's just a formality. The current 9-domain world is a supreme world, whether it's the manifestation of heaven's will or the manifestation of heaven's will. And because it's a great era, it's more effective in assisting cultivation than a supreme world. Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow, the celestial realm's origin world Venerate went to reincarnate. What happened after he returned? What about the level of the world? Lin Piaomiao asked. Returning won't change the result. The celestial realm's decline from a supreme world to a sub-supreme world can't be stopped. The world tree doesn't have much lifespan left. It can't maintain the celestial realm's level. It's inevitable that the celestial realm will become a sub-supreme world. Night Sorrow said. That's good. This won't stop our 9-domain world from becoming a supreme world. Am I being selfish? Sikong Chuyu said. It doesn't count. Everyone has the right to think for themselves. Night Sorrow said with a smile. A supreme world has a lifespan of 1,000 reincarnations. 1 reincarnation, 10 epochs, 1 epoch is 100 billion years. That's a long time. Xueshi muttered. This is normal. If the world tree exists, this rule will be broken. The world tree won't be destroyed in the supreme world. Its level won't even drop. Night Sorrow explained to everyone. He also told them about the situation of the origin world. The origin world's level dropped and was destroyed because the world tree failed to break through the God-destroying tribulation. I see. That's good. Yang Lei and the others said. By the way, you promised the origin world venerates of the world of reincarnation and Xianhuang world to take care of them when they reincarnate. Don't forget about it. Datura said. He was worried that Night Sorrow would forget and become a man of no words. I won't. Also, because of the world tree and the radiation of the world origin, the 3 worlds won't be destroyed. The origin world venerates of the 3 worlds will reincarnate for a long time. Don't worry. I'm well aware of some things. Night Sorrow smiled. Night Sorrow's 3000th birthday was over. His life once again entered a stable period. Night Sorrow didn't cultivate in seclusion anymore. He often cultivated in seclusion in the soul-nourishing palace of the heaven-sealing Great Hall. His soul had reached the limit, surpassing the level of the black-horned dragon. His body cultivation and true chi cultivation were bottlenecks. He couldn't make any progress unless he merged his soul. On this day, Night Sorrow was talking to Papa Gu in the lake when Lin Piaomiao appeared. Something happened. The Demon Wing clan appeared and attacked Tianhuang City directly. King Ye Wu was severely injured. Now, Lord Tianxin is rushing over and fighting with Demon Nine Clouds. They're finally here. Night Sorrow stood up and merged with the clone that flew over from the lake. Then, he flew toward the teleportation array. After getting on the teleportation array, Night Sorrow started the teleportation. He was anxious. He knew Demon Nine Clouds well. If he wasn't sure about something, it meant that he was confident. When Night Sorrow arrived, the battle was already over. Tran Hung arrived first. He joined forces with Yi Tianxin and the injured King Ye Wu to repel Demon Nine Clouds. Uncle Master, how are you? Night Sorrow asked the pale-faced King Ye Wu. I'm fine. King Ye Wu shook his head. Sneak attack. I'll settle this with them. Night Sorrow's expression was ugly. King Ye Wu said that he was fine, but Night Sorrow knew that his Dao Foundation had been damaged. They have a teleportation array that connects to the celestial realm. The base of the teleportation array is on the Nirvana Ocean Bridge. It has been destroyed, but it doesn't matter. The masters of the Demon Wing clan have already entered the celestial realm, Tran Hung said. When the teleportation channel opened, it happened to pass above Tianhuang City. Tran Hung sensed it. Edition I Chapter Up %. Chapter 2345. A real half-step divine emperor, much stronger than Heavenly King Zhan. As a member of the Demon Wing clan, she's strong and fast. Yi Tianxin wiped the corner of his mouth because he was also injured, and not lightly. Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian didn't show up. Night Sorrow asked. King Ye Wu shook his head. They didn't come. Fortunately, the battlefield was at the foot of Ye Wu Mountain. If it was anywhere else, senior uncle might have died. King Ye Wu went to treat his injuries. Night Sorrow, Tran Hung, Yi Tianxin, and the Grand Elder talked. The Demon Wing clan came in. They'll destroy and occupy. The situation won't be easy to control, Elder Duan said worriedly. They won't. The Demon Wing clan doesn't want a damaged celestial realm. They want the right to rule and a space to live and reproduce. Night Sorrow shook his head. Night Sorrow stayed in Shendu City. In terms of strategic importance, Tianhuang City was the most important. But now that the defense line had been broken, Shendu City was the most important to the 100 races of the celestial realm. It was the place where their civilization was passed down. In addition, Yishang also gave Yi Tianxin control of the Heaven Wasteland Pagoda, which was originally Yi Tianxin's magic treasure. One day, Night Sorrow saw Jun Xuanji when he was strolling on the street. Jiuyun didn't say anything to you when she came last time? Night Sorrow asked. No, she didn't look at me. She didn't even look at me, Jun Xuanji said. She didn't even look at you. This shows that she still cares about the past and can't face it with you. But from now on, we'll have to go our separate ways, Night Sorrow said. The heavenly concubine also came to Shendu City. She went to Night Sorrow's mansion in Shendu City. It was the first gift King Ye Wu gave to Night Sorrow. Heavenly concubine, you shouldn't have come. It'll make you feel awkward, Night Sorrow said. I won't. I'm from the 9-domain world now. I don't want to face the Demon Wing clan because of old ties. I don't owe anyone anything. I don't dare to face anyone, said the heavenly concubine. Be careful, I'm afraid she'll attack you regardless of the consequences. Night Sorrow reminded heavenly concubine. In his thoughts, Night Sorrow felt that Demon Nine Clouds wouldn't use sneak attacks or other tactics, nor would he attack randomly. There was a high possibility that he would choose a peak confrontation because people were an important factor in determining the overall situation. If the experts of the Celestial Realm were not removed, then the Demon Wing clan would not be able to develop. It would be meaningless if they were attacked everywhere. Only by defeating the experts of the Celestial Realm would the Demon Wing clan be able to develop safely in Wuyo. At this time, Demon Nine Clouds was in a mansion in one of the realms occupied by Demon Feather. He sat on the main seat with Mo Zhantian, Mo Yutian, Mo Lu, Mo Yuqing, and the others standing below. There were also more than 10 people, who were experts of the 100 Kings tribe of the Demon Wing clan. My lord, should we destroy and occupy Tianhuang City and let Tianhuang and the Celestial Realm be officially connected? Mo Zhantian bowed and asked. There's no hurry. As long as we defeat them head-on, we can develop however we want. If we can't defeat or kill them, there's no point in doing anything else. Demon Nine Clouds shook his head. Demon Nine Clouds went to Shindu City with the intention of killing King Ye-Wu and removing a top expert of the Celestial Realm. However, King Ye-Wu's fighting strength was very strong. Before she could kill King Ye-Wu, reinforcements had arrived, so she didn't insist on fighting. Demon Nine Clouds was not surprised by Tran Heng's appearance, but Yi Tianxin's appearance made her puzzled because Yi Tianxin's fighting strength was very amazing. After thinking, Demon Nine Clouds came to the conclusion that Yi Tianxin was like her, a successful reincarnator. After learning about the history of the Celestial Realm, Demon Nine Clouds also came to the conclusion that Yi Tianxin was the Shura Empress. Shindu City has a defensive array, so the battlefield will be elsewhere. After thinking for a while, Demon Nine Clouds murmured. In the last battle, she had the chance to kill King Ye-Wu, but Yi Tianxin's unexpected appearance made her retreat prematurely. Now that there were variables, she had to be careful. Demon Nine Clouds thought the same as Night Sorrow. She also thought that the war was a battle between the upper echelons. She didn't want a broken Celestial Realm. What she wanted was to kill the upper echelons of the Celestial Realm and rule the Celestial Realm. Her main goal was the Nine Realms world. The Celestial Realm could allow the demon-winged race to survive, but the opportunities and conditions for development were not as good as the Nine Realms world. On this day, while Night Sorrow was chatting with Tran Heng and Yi Tianxin, his Nine Realms doppelgangers received a message from Lin Piaomiao's original body. Demon Nine Clouds had appeared in Ethereal Imperial City. Sect Elder Lin sent a message. Demon Nine Clouds is now in Ethereal Imperial City. Night Sorrow said. Then let's hurry over. Tran Heng said anxiously. Demon Nine Clouds' appearance meant that the war was coming. Night Sorrow, Tran Heng, and Yi Tianxin took the teleportation array to Ethereal Imperial City. After arriving at Ethereal Imperial City and exiting the teleportation array, Night Sorrow saw Demon Nine Clouds in silver armor. His hair was fluttering, and he held a halberd in his right hand. It looked similar to the reincarnation halberd. Mo Zhantian, Mo Yutian, and the others were standing behind him. After taking a few steps, Night Sorrow arrived in front of the city lord's mansion and met up with Lin Piaomiao, Sang Ning, and Wu Feng. Nine Clouds, is there no other way? Night Sorrow looked at Demon Nine Clouds and asked. No. You dared to fight for the Nine Realms world. I, Demon Nine Clouds, will do the same for the Demon-Winged clan and my people. Demon Nine Clouds said. Nine Clouds, we were once friends who went through life and death together. Have you forgotten all of this? Jun Xuanji appeared and shouted at Demon Nine Clouds. I haven't forgotten. Night Sorrow, if you die in battle, I will personally erect a monument. No one can blaspheme you, and no one will harm your family because we were once friends. Demon Nine Clouds said. Thank you. If you don't attack and invade the Celestial Realm, you can develop in Tianhuang Continent, Night Sorrow said. It's already not easy for you to make this decision. You're kind and don't want to see war. You don't want to see war cause misery and suffering, but in reality, you can't do that. In actuality, I'm very envious of her. She did everything she could for the demon-winged clan and completed her mission as Motianji. Now, she can live for herself. I also want to complete my path as Demon Nine Clouds. Before I die, I'll definitely fight for the demon-winged clan to the end, Demon Nine Clouds said as she looked at Heavenly Concubine. There was no hatred in her eyes. I can't refute what you said because we're the same kind of people. We don't only live for ourselves. Night Sorrow nodded. He understood what Demon Nine Clouds meant and knew that things couldn't be changed. Yes, so we won't try to persuade each other. Before we fight to the death, there's no need to start a war because those are meaningless casualties that can't change the direction of the war, Demon Nine Clouds said. We'll do as you say. Night Sorrow looked at Tran Hung and Elder Duan and replied to Demon Nine Clouds. Zhan Tian, Yutian, listen up. If I win, the celestial realm will be ours. If we lose, you'll retreat and return to the Heaven Wasteland domain. Return to the domain that belongs to the Heaven Wasteland domain and never enter the celestial realm again, Demon Nine Clouds said to Mo Zhan Tian and Mo Yutian. Chapter 2346. Yin Xiaotian. Wufeng's enemy, right? Demon Nine Clouds stretched out his arm and grabbed Yin Xiaotian, who had already cultivated the disaster of the three sovereigns. Demon Nine Clouds held Yin Xiaotian's spirit with his left hand. Yin Xiaotian's legs kicked wildly, but he could not break free. Sir, please spare my life. Yin Xiaotian was a little dumbfounded because he could feel the killing intent. He did not expect that Night Sorrow's words could make Demon Nine Clouds make such a decision. Demon Nine Clouds did not speak. He only shook his head and did not agree to Yin Xiaotian's pleas. Why? We from the world of Nine Yin have been serving the demon-winged race, and now you want to kill me for the enemy? Yin Xiaotian roared because he could not accept this. The Nine Yin tribe originally lived in the Celestial Realm and was part of the 100 races in the Celestial Realm, but you betrayed the 100 races in the Celestial Realm. I hate traitors, that's one of the reasons. Secondly, I only protect the demon-winged race. Who do you think you are? Wufeng, when I came to the Celestial Realm in the past, you gave me a few words of advice when I was in the Villa of Night Moon. Today, I will return the favor. Demon Nine Clouds' left hand trembled, and an energy burst out and shattered Yin Xiaotian's body. Then, he clenched his fist and crushed Yin Xiaotian's soul. He killed without hesitation. This was the demon ancestor, Demon Nine Clouds. Remember, you can be the enemy of a gentleman, but not a villain, Demon Nine Clouds said to Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian behind him. Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian bowed and accepted the order. The demon ancestors' height was something they could never catch up to in their lifetime. The problem is solved. The battle will still be between you and me. Night Sorrow's body flashed and flew out of the city. The others followed. The next battle would determine the direction of the war that had lasted for thousands of reincarnations. If Night Sorrow won, the demon-winged race would not attack the celestial realm again. Everyone in the Devil Wing clan would obey the orders of the Devil Ancestor. If Demon Nine Clouds won, then no one in the celestial realm would be able to stop Demon Nine Clouds. Bridge to bridge, road to road, come. Outside the city, Night Sorrow turned around and looked at Demon Nine Clouds. He waved his heavenly samsara halberd and nodded at Demon Nine Clouds. As Night Sorrow spoke, Demon Nine Clouds brandished his halberd and charged towards Night Sorrow. After activating the Thousand Realms defense body, Yishang took a step forward and swung his heavenly samsara halberd at Mo Julian's halberd. Although she knew that Night Sorrow's body was strong, Demon Nine Clouds did not retreat. She was confident that her body was strong as well. With a muffled sound, a halo of energy appeared and rippled in all directions. Night Sorrow and Demon Nine Clouds both retreated a distance, but the place where they stood was shattered by the void. Demon Nine Clouds waved his halberd and glanced at Night Sorrow. Then, she looked at herself. In terms of physical strength, she was not as good as Night Sorrow. This was a huge shock to her. Her body had been baptized by the God-destroying tribulation. Although her body was protected by energy and did not shatter, her body was also at the level of an 8 Emperor Tribulation. However, after this collision, it was clear that she was not as good as Night Sorrow. Demon Nine Clouds could not see Night Sorrow's body realm because the energy of Night Sorrow's flesh and blood was locked in the crystals. In addition, with the support of the leakless true body, she could not detect it. After 2,000 years of accumulation, Night Sorrow was no longer the same as before. After this collision, the two of them charged at each other again. The battle started again. Night Sorrow released his karmic taboo reincarnation domain to support his attack. As for defense, there were 13 floating light rays outside his body. Those were extremely stable Sumeru worlds. Any energy that got close to them would be directly devoured. Cultivators under the Emperor Tribulation could no longer see Night Sorrow and Demon Nine Clouds' movements and moves. The area of destruction caused by the sputtering of energy was getting larger and larger. Night Sorrow and Mo Jillian brandished their halberds, each strike containing the power to destroy the heavens and the earth. The space barrier where the two of them were fighting had already completely shattered. The two of them were fighting in the turbulent streams of space. Kill! Following Demon Nine Clouds' roar, a figure appeared from her body and charged at Night Sorrow. In the past 2,000 years, Demon Nine Clouds' recovery speed was great. Her original body had awakened and merged with the clone of her reincarnated body. In other words, Demon Nine Clouds' two bodies were the original body. One was the original body, and the other was the reincarnation of her soul. Now, both of them were charging at Night Sorrow. At this time, Night Sorrow could no longer hide her strength. Her original body trembled, and her clone appeared as well. She began to fight with Demon Nine Clouds, who was wearing a green robe. The battle that was originally evenly matched now had a clear winner. Why? Because the combat power of Night Sorrow's original body was similar to that of her clone. Her clone had 90% of the original body's combat power. However, Mo Jillian was different. The difference between her reincarnated body and her original body was huge. Just the quality of her body alone was a huge difference. Therefore, her reincarnated body was no match for Night Sorrow's clone. Demon Nine Clouds could only rely on her original body to defend herself. The battle was very intense. Yi Tianxin and the others were watching intently. She originally thought that she would be no match for anyone below the Divine Emperor realm. However, Night Sorrow and Demon Nine Clouds' combat power had surpassed hers by a huge margin. Of course, there was a difference in strength, but each of them had their own strengths. It would be very difficult for anyone to kill her. Night Sorrow and Demon Nine Clouds fought from the spatial turbulence to the real world. The real world collapsed and turned into a spatial turbulence. The battlefield was filled with turbulent energy currents. If any cultivator below the high-level Divine Emperor realm dared to enter, they would be killed instantly. You have the upper hand, but you can't win. I'll wait for the next battle with you. Demon Nine Clouds' body flashed. His energy wrapped around Mo Zhantian and the others and left. Night Sorrow didn't chase after him. The others didn't move because it was useless to move. If Night Sorrow couldn't win, the others couldn't win either. The clone merged with the original body. Night Sorrow returned to Tran Hung and the others. She's really strong. If Night Sorrow didn't appear in this era, the celestial realm would have fallen. Yi Tianxin said. Everyone, don't worry. Just stay in Xingyue City. I'm going back to the Nine Domains world. Night Sorrow said. He had made the decision to merge with the soul. If he didn't do that, he couldn't win against Demon Nine Clouds. Yi Tianxin and the others nodded. They understood that Night Sorrow had made the decision. They also saw the battle today. Night Sorrow had the advantage, but he was only a little stronger than Demon Nine Clouds. The gap wasn't big enough. He couldn't win, let alone kill. Ion B, 3 Night Sorrow left. Yi Tianxin and the others also arrived at Xingyue City. Lu Qi and the others also informed King Yewu to come. Demon Nine Clouds said that before the battle, he would fight Night Sorrow. However, if he changed his mind and continued to kill, the celestial realm would suffer a great loss. It might not be able to bear it. After returning to the Nine Domains world, Night Sorrow entered the soul-nurturing palace. He told the Nine Domains origins to accelerate time and began to merge with the soul. Chapter 2347. Night Sorrow began his cultivation. The core members of the 100 tribes of the celestial realm arrived at Night Moon Villa and Star Moon City to begin their defense. Demon Nine Clouds brought Mo Zhantien, Mo Yutian, and the rest back to the realm. Sir, are we not going to kill the rest of them? Are we going to attack? Mo Zhantien asked. There's no need. Before victory is decided, it's not worth it to draw hatred. The battle between Night Sorrow and I is the key. If I win, all the problems will be solved. But if I lose, what's the point of making enemies? Based on the current situation, no matter if I win or lose, the demon-winged clan won't be wiped out immediately. But if we hurt the others now, it's the same as drawing hatred and cutting off our escape route. Demon Nine Clouds looked at Mo Zhantien and said. I understand. Mo Zhantien bowed. You have to understand. In the battle between Night Sorrow and I, it's hard to say who will emerge victorious. So, we can't go too far. If we don't go too far, even if I lose, the demon-winged clan won't be able to enter the celestial realm again. But if we go overboard, it will be a war of extinction. Demon Nine Clouds looked at Mo Zhantien and Mo Yutian and said. Mo Zhantien and Mo Yutian cupped their hands and accepted the order. In order to fight for a good place for future generations to develop, we followed the wishes of our ancestors and followed their footsteps. Our people kept attacking the celestial realm. But what's the reality? After thousands of cycles, our demon-winged clan still couldn't defeat the 100 tribes of the celestial realm. Even if we were strong at some point, we still couldn't stand firm. This led to the deaths of countless people. It's really unnecessary. Let the war end in this cycle. If we can conquer it, we'll rule it completely. If we can't, we'll go back to where we came from. Demon Nine Clouds emphasized his point. Mo Zhantien and Mo Yutian understood that Demon Nine Clouds had shouldered the responsibility. If future generations asked about it, she would have to bear all the blame and blame. The history books will record all of this, and future generations will understand all of this, Mo Zhantien said. I don't care. As a member of the Demon Wing clan, I will do everything I can. In fact, I really like the Nine Domains world and my previous life, but I can't go back. Wasn't the heavenly concubine pitiful? She's no different from a guest who died in a foreign land, but she was treated well. The records of Mo Tianji must be positive. She didn't betray the demon-winged clan. Demon Nine Clouds said and left. Who could truly be heartless? No one could do it. Demon Nine Clouds couldn't do it. It was her responsibility that forced her to continue walking down this path. My lord shouldered all of this. Sigh, Night Sorrow just had to appear in the celestial realm at this time. Is this fate? Mo Yutian was a little annoyed. Mo Zhantien didn't reply. The current situation was just as Demon Nine Clouds had said. If she won, then everything would be fine. If she lost, then the celestial realm and the demon-winged clan would have nothing to do with each other. As for Night Sorrow allowing the demon-winged clan to develop in the celestial wasteland, it was voided the moment Demon Nine Clouds decided to fight. Night Sorrow first turned the Nine Domains doppelganger into energy and merged it into his body. His body merged with his body, and his soul merged with his soul. After merging with the Nine Domains doppelganger's soul, Night Sorrow's main body felt a little soft. It was a comfort that came from the depths of his soul. His cultivation continued. Night Sorrow's realm and strength continued to rise. Yi Tianxin and the others could only wait. They were now at their peak, and their combat power was limited. They couldn't improve anymore and could only wait for Night Sorrow to come out of seclusion. Currently, only Night Sorrow could help Wang Quanglan. No one else could do it. Everyone, don't worry. What did the previous battle prove? It proved that Night Sorrow is stronger than Demon Nine Clouds. Yes, both of them have room for improvement. But how much does Demon Nine Clouds have? The two bodies merged again, but how much combat power can it increase? She's already at the Soul Unity realm. Even if she merged again, it would only increase her combat power by a small amount. But Night Sorrow is different. Night Sorrow has improved once again, and his cultivation level has increased. His three bodies have merged into one, so his advantage will only increase. He won't be pulled in. Yi Tianxin analyzed and gave everyone a conclusion. That's right. As long as Demon Nine Clouds doesn't go through the God-destroying tribulation, she has no chance of defeating Night Sorrow. Passing the God-destroying tribulation. Maybe Night Sorrow doesn't even need to make a move. She will be destroyed by the God-destroying tribulation. In addition, the chances of Night Sorrow passing the God-destroying tribulation are also very high. His chances are only higher than hers, not lower. Tran Heng nodded. After listening to Yi Tianxin and Tran Heng, the group of people heaved a sigh of relief because the situation was not bad. Update Vexen Soonest C3S, in the time acceleration, Night Sorrow continued to improve. Of course, the price was quite high. The doppelganger that accompanied him for almost 3,000 years would no longer exist. Time was slipping away. Everyone knew that a storm was coming. Everyone knew that the next battle would start with Night Sorrow and Mo Tianji's reappearance. The higher-ups of the celestial realm knew that the most disadvantageous thing for Night Sorrow was that he didn't take the initiative. If Mo Tianji wanted to fight, Night Sorrow would have to fight. If Night Sorrow didn't fight, Demon Nine Clouds might attack other people and forces in the celestial realm. If Night Sorrow wanted to fight, he wouldn't be able to find Demon Nine Clouds. Night Sorrow's doppelganger fusion speed was relatively fast, but it was still slower. After all, he had fused two bodies. Demon Nine Clouds had only fused one body. The difference was that Demon Nine Clouds had fused his reincarnated body, so it was more difficult. When she finished the fusion and went to Ethereal Imperial City to declare war, Night Sorrow's second doppelganger had only fused a large part of it. When Demon Nine Clouds arrived, Lin Piaomiao didn't let anyone else come. She went to Ethereal Imperial City alone. Elder Lin, where is Night Sorrow? 3 years have passed. We can't delay any longer, Demon Nine Clouds said. Night Sorrow isn't here. Tell me what you think. Lin Piaomiao said. 3 months. I'll give him 3 months. If he doesn't fight, I won't wait for him. War is war. Demon Nine Clouds said and left. Lin Piaomiao frowned. 3 months was too short. No one knew Night Sorrow's current situation. What if he didn't finish cultivating in 3 months? Force him to come out. That would be a big problem. After thinking for a while, Lin Piaomiao returned to Xingyue City. Then, she told Yi Tianxin, Tran Heng, King Yewu, and the Grand Elder about Demon Nine Clouds' deadline. 3 months. She's doing this because she's not confident. She doesn't want to give Night Sorrow time. She's forcing Night Sorrow to come out and fight. King Yewu was a little angry because Demon Nine Clouds was starting to use tricks. She was taking drastic measures to force Night Sorrow to come out and fight. I don't care. I'll wait for Night Sorrow to come out. Before that, she can fight however she wants. If she loses her territory, she can fight it back in the future. She can't neglect her roots. City Lord Qing Emperor, give me the control of this array later. I'll guarantee that this place won't be broken, Yi Tianxin said. Master, let's hand it over to Lord Tian Xian. Lin Piaomiao answered for the hesitant Qing Emperor. She knew that Qing Emperor had his concerns. Xingyue City was Night Sorrow's Xingyue City. Qing Emperor definitely wouldn't be willing to hand over the city to Yi Tianxin. Chapter 2348. The higher-ups of the Celestial Realm had already made the decision to not inform Night Sorrow to come out of seclusion for the sake of their long-term interests. Even if some people died in battle, even if some forces were destroyed, they would bear with it. Piao Miao, don't alarm Night Sorrow. This is the time to be calm, King Yewu said to Lin Piao Miao. Uncle, don't worry. I understand, Lin Piao Miao said. Yes, this is the time to be calm. Seeing Lin Piao Miao nod, King Yewu felt more at ease. Must Demon Nine Clouds be so ruthless? Lin Piao Miao shook her head. She didn't dare to think about the consequences. Because if Night Sorrow didn't fight, others wouldn't be able to stop Demon Nine Clouds. Tran Heng, King Yewu, Yi Tianxin, and Elder Duan wouldn't let Demon Nine Clouds mess around. They would definitely stop him, and the result would be death. King Yewu and the others wouldn't be willing to be cowards. Some things had to be done even if they knew it was impossible, even if the price was death. Must things be so ruthless? Actually, this wasn't Lin Piao Miao's question. It was also Demon Nine Clouds' question. She wanted to force Night Sorrow to come out, but she still had her concerns if she really had to go on a killing spree. Once she really did that, the future situation would be difficult to control. Moreover, so what if she killed the forces of the Celestial Realm? It wouldn't determine the outcome of the war. Besides, if Tran Heng and the others came out to fight, it would be fine. She could kill them and wear down the forces of the Celestial Realm. If they didn't come out and hid in the nine-domain world, she wouldn't be able to do anything. If she attacked some forces, she would only anger Night Sorrow. She would also kill and take over the territory. But so what? Even if she took over the territory, would she dare to take it back? She wouldn't be able to defend it. If she couldn't defeat Night Sorrow and the higher-ups of the Celestial Realm, even if she took over the territory, it would be useless. In Star Moon City, the main members of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm were in the City Lord's mansion. City Lord Chen, Yewu, before Demon Nine Clouds attacks, go and transfer the key items in Tianhuang City and Shindu City. If Night Sorrow doesn't come, we won't be able to hold on. We can't just give away some of our resources to the Demon Winged Clan, Yi Tianxin said after a moment of silence. Tran Heng and King Yewu nodded. Although they were somewhat unwilling, they understood that Yi Tianxin's idea was right. Before Night Sorrow could fight, they had to prepare some backup plans. Otherwise, they would be giving the Demon Winged Clan away. Hashtag A update V new fastest up %. H. Also, inform all cultivators above the Emperor rank in the Celestial Realm to come to Xingyue City. I hope that Demon Nine Clouds has a bottom line and won't attack ordinary cultivators. Yi Tianxin once again made arrangements. Elder Duan and Lin Piao Miao nodded. They were the most suitable to make arrangements for this matter because the strongest force among the 100 races of the Celestial Realm was the Council of Elders. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, 2.5 months had passed. The important transfer of the Celestial Realm had also been completed. All the emperors of the Celestial Realm had arrived at Night Moon City and were notified one by one. In addition, the Council of Elders had also informed all the emperors to hide as well as they could and not appear. Preserving their strength was a decision made by the 100 races of the Celestial Realm when they couldn't resist Demon Nine Clouds' attack. This news naturally couldn't be hidden from the spies of the Demon Winged Clan. Lord Demon Emperor, those high-level cultivators have all entered Xingyue City. Those below the Emperor rank are scattered and hiding. Dark Feather reported the information he had found. Now, it wasn't only Dark Feather who called Demon Nine Clouds the Demon Emperor. The other members of the Demon Winged Clan, including Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian, also called him the Demon Emperor. After merging with the reincarnation, the two horns on the head of Demon Nine Clouds shone with a golden light. As the light flowed, it was breathtaking. And with two horns on the head, he was the Demon Emperor. This was the prophecy of the Demon Winged Clan. Mo Zhantian and the others knew about it. After receiving the news from Dark Feather, Demon Nine Clouds understood that the 100 races of the Celestial Realm had already made preparations. Lord Demon Emperor, what's the next plan? Mo Zhantian asked. Xingyue City. If Xingyue City has a cultivator of the Divine Soul Unity realm guarding it, it won't be easy to break through. There is a very high-level defensive formation there, and there are top experts controlling the formation. It won't be easy to break through, but can they just watch other places being attacked and not do anything? Tran Heng, Qingye Wu, Yi Tianxin, can you just sit back and do nothing? If you can do it, then this method of taking drastic measures will be useless. Demon Nine Clouds closed his eyes and thought for a moment, then muttered a few words in a low voice. The atmosphere in Xingyue City was very oppressive. Lord Tianxin, thank you for your efforts here. Tran Heng cupped his hands to Yi Tianxin. Seeing that the time was approaching, Tran Heng also made a decision. At the same time, Qingye Wu and Elder Duan also made the decision. They couldn't just watch the demon-winged clan act recklessly in the celestial realm and kill in the celestial realm. This was also my original plan, and I also had the determination to fight to the death. It seems that you all thought the same, but in reality, it was wrong. At our current level, some things have become indifferent. No one is afraid of death, but death must be worth it. Demon Nine Clouds' move has two main purposes. The first is to force Night Sorrow to fight and disrupt Night Sorrow's plan. It will hinder Night Sorrow's cultivation and even cause some negative effects, thus leading to his defeat. The second purpose is to wear down the strength of the experts in the celestial realm. Who is the target? The target is naturally the four of us who have surpassed the tribulation of 9 emperors. Yi Tianxin looked at Tran Heng and the others and said. He knew that Tran Heng and the others were already prepared. In order to prevent the celestial realm from being massacred, they were determined to fight to the death. Tran Heng and the other two didn't say anything. They already understood these things, but they couldn't remain indifferent. It's not difficult to fight to the death, but it's difficult to endure. We can't let the demon-winged clan succeed. Do we really have to go on a killing spree? Demon Nine Clouds may not take this step. After all, this will leave us with no choice, Lin Piaomiao said. Tran Heng sighed. It was really difficult to give up the obsession that he had held in his heart for many years. His obsession was to protect the celestial realm from the baptism of war. This was the responsibility that he had taken over from the sages of the celestial realm. Listen to me. Stay here. If they want the territory, then let them have it. As long as the people are here, everything is here, Yi Tianxin said to the others. Night Sorrow didn't know about these things. She was still cultivating. Her doppelganger had already finished fusing. Her body and soul had reached perfection. Everything had become one. At this moment, she was stabilizing her realm in the time acceleration. When the time was up, Demon Nine Clouds led the troops to the front of Ethereal City. This time, no one received them. Night Sorrow couldn't fight, so it didn't matter who received her. Whether the war would continue or not depended on Zhu Jiuyun. Lin Piaomiao and the others also knew that Demon Nine Clouds had given them a 3-month deadline. This was a strategy that would definitely not be extended. Seeing that no one came out of the City Lord's office, Demon Nine Clouds led the troops to the front of Night Moon Villa. Chapter 2349. Standing in front of the Night Moon Villa, Demon Nine Clouds pondered for an entire incense worth of time. Then, he raised his head and said, for the sake of the demon-winged clan, personal feelings and honor can only be put aside. Night Sorrow, Xuanji, I can only apologize. After speaking, Demon Nine Clouds began to attack the protective array of the Night Moon Villa. The battle would begin here. She knew that the Night Moon Villa was an iconic residence in the celestial realm. It was the residence of the human sovereign, Night Sorrow. Destroying Night Sorrow's residence would be a huge blow to the morale of the 100 races of the celestial realm. As Demon Nine Clouds attacked, the protective array of the Night Moon Villa shook. After 2 attacks, the protective array, which was not controlled by an expert, was broken. Demon Nine Clouds entered the Night Moon Villa. The Night Moon Villa was very quiet. There were no servants. Lin Piaomiao was a sentimental person. The servants of the Night Moon Villa had been in the Night Moon Villa for a long time. Everyone had deep feelings for each other. Therefore, Lin Piaomiao brought them to the Nine Regions city. Looking at the quiet Night Moon Villa and the teleportation array that no longer had a teleportation crystal, Demon Nine Clouds shook his head and returned to the teleportation array of the ethereal Imperial City. The teleportation array of the ethereal Imperial City was also deactivated. The teleportation crystal was also removed. Tran Hung and the others knew that the teleportation array was the key. The celestial realm only had a few Imperial-grade teleportation crystals. Naturally, they could not let the demon-winged clan take them. Not only the ethereal Imperial City, but the teleportation crystals of the Heavenly Desolate City and the Shindu City were also removed. The Imperial-grade teleportation crystal of the ethereal Imperial City was in the hands of Lin Piaomiao. The teleportation crystal of the Heavenly Desolate City was in the hands of Qin Qianjie, whose original body was in Xingyue City. The teleportation crystal of the Shindu City was in the hands of Lu Qi, whose original body was in Xingyue City. In other words, if the 100 races of the celestial realm wanted to set up a teleportation array, they could do it instantly. The plan failed completely. Looking at the teleportation circle, Demon Nine Clouds was a little annoyed. She had already shed all pretense of cordiality, but she still hadn't achieved either of her two goals. Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian didn't utter a word because they didn't dare to speak for fear of angering Demon Nine Clouds. If we can't take drastic measures, then let's cut off all means of retreat and attack Star Moon City. Demon Nine Clouds said coldly as he led Mo Zhantian, Mo Yutian, and the elites of the demon-winged clan towards Star Moon City. Look at the D52P version. Chapter J. Sway *N carat. At this moment, Yi Tianxin and the others in Star Moon City had already received news of Demon Nine Clouds' appearance. They had placed a scout's doppelganger in Star Moon City, so they already knew what Demon Nine Clouds had done after his arrival. What will come will come. Demon Nine Clouds knows that it's useless to attack other places. Even if he manages to conquer them, would he dare to defend his territory? He would only become a passive target. Therefore, under the situation where both of his goals failed, he could only shed all pretense of cordiality and attack our Star Moon City, Yi Tianxin said. He's really disregarding everything. Lin Piaomiao shook her head helplessly. However, she still felt a little more at ease in her heart. Demon Nine Clouds hadn't gone crazy and hadn't destroyed Misty Imperial City. Everyone has their own mission. For the sake of one's mission, there's no choice but to pay the price. In Star Moon City, the heavenly concubine, who had been silent all this while, finally spoke up. Demon Nine Clouds understood her, but how could she not understand Demon Nine Clouds' situation? She understood everything. Demon Nine Clouds' speed was very fast. Not long after, he arrived in the sky outside Star Moon City. Night Sorrow doesn't dare to fight. Demon Nine Clouds' robes fluttered as he shouted towards Star Moon City. Nonsense. When has my father ever been afraid of trouble? Don't you understand this point? You know that my father is in seclusion, yet you still use these methods and words to attack him. You're despicable. Yi Xiaolei, who was standing beside her mother, scolded angrily. Xiaolei, step down. Children shouldn't interfere in adult matters. Nine Clouds, are you really going to take this step? Are you not going to leave any leeway for us? Yang Lei took 2 steps forward and said. Perhaps Xiaolei is right. This is a little despicable. In fact, it could even be said that I am unscrupulous. However, at this point, I have no other choice. Mo Jiuyun shook his head. Waving his halberd, he sent out a wave of energy towards Star Moon City. Yi Tianxin stretched out his right arm and sent out an Azura sword chi. As this sword chi flew, it received the support of the defensive array's energy and its power continued to increase. The 2 energy waves collided outside Star Moon City. The energy waves shook the lake and caused a huge wave to rise. The huge wave smashed against the defensive barrier, causing a circle of ripples. Both sides were evenly matched. With the help of the defensive array's energy, Yi Tianxin and Demon Nine Clouds did not fall into a disadvantageous position. After the first attack, Demon Nine Clouds began to attack the defensive array madly, not giving Yi Tianxin any chance to stabilize it. Mo Zhantian, Mo Yutian, and the others also took action. They used their energy to attack the defensive array of Star Moon City. Join hands to kill the enemy. Tran Heng, King Yawu, and Elder Duan took out their weapons. Their energy attacks passed through the defensive array controlled by Yi Tianxin and attacked Demon Nine Clouds. This was the might of the defensive array. Under the control of the array's master, attacks from the outside could not be blocked. However, attacks from the inside could be unblocked. Everything was controlled by the array's master. It was the same for entering and exiting. I don't wish to harm the demon-winged race. However, as a member of the Nine-Domain world, I have my own oath. I swear to protect the Nine-Domain world with my life. I'm sorry. Heavenly Concubine also took action. Demon Nine Clouds did not say anything. He understood everything. When she was Zhu Nine Clouds, she already knew everything. Demon Nine Clouds' cultivation realm was high. His original body had survived the God-exterminating tribulation. His soul had fused with the original body and clone of his reincarnated body. His strength was so strong that Yi Tianxin could not withstand it. Hold on. Yi Tianxin and the others could only hold on. She did not expect Demon Nine Clouds to be so strong. A war of attrition. This was a war of attrition. Lin Piaomiao and the others were also anxious. They took action to interfere with Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian's attacks. As for interfering with Demon Nine Clouds, only Divine Soul Unity experts could do so. They could not break through the defense of Demon Nine Clouds. They could not hold on. The battle lasted for 6 hours. After half a day, Yi Tianxin knew that they could not hold on any longer. Demon Nine Clouds' attacks were powerful. She had to consume a lot of energy to control the array. Sect Elder Lin, arrange for people to teleport to the Nine-Domain world. I'm afraid we can't hold on for long. Yi Tianxin shouted to Lin Piaomiao. This was a helpless choice. If the Star Moon City was breached, the losses would be huge. It was a failure at the beginning. Lin Piaomiao turned around and looked at the Star Moon City. She was reluctant to part with the city, but the relocation was something she had to do. Your soul spirit is filled with invasiveness. Moreover, you don't know when to stop. Truly hateful. A woman's voice was heard. Following which, countless emerald green tree branches hung down from the void and landed on the defensive barrier of the Star Moon City. Following the appearance of the tree branches, the defensive barrier of the Star Moon City emitted a green radiance. It instantly stabilized. One of the tree branches passed through the defensive barrier and landed on Yi Tianxin's shoulder. Chapter 2350. When you see this, Shizi, I would like to thank you for being able to see this from the beginning. You might be like Shizi, persevering every day regardless of rain or shine. The difference is that Shizi is thinking and writing new chapters every day, while you are waiting and waiting. The success of a novel can't be separated from Shizi's hard work, but it can't be separated from your support. If it wasn't for your generous rewards, your sign-in, your book chasing, your recommendations, and your little bit of support, there wouldn't be such high statistics to prove the success of this novel. It's said that everything is difficult at the beginning, and it's the same for writing a novel. You have to kill countless brain cells to come up with the opening chapter of a novel. If you want to talk about when you are the most reluctant, in Shizi's opinion, the ending is the most reluctant. Now, this novel is nearing the end. No matter how reluctant I am, I have no choice but to slowly draw a full stop for this novel. Please don't be dejected. The ending of this novel is just to welcome a better new book. A good novel needs to stop at a certain point. Shizi doesn't want to continue writing and end up making the novel unrecognizable. Recently, Shizi has already started to think about the opening chapter of the new book. It has been more than a year since Myriad Daos Becomes a God officially started writing in August of 2015. We have had crazy outbursts, and we have also had peaceful days. No matter what kind of things Shizi encounters, or when his mood is indescribably low, Shizi has never missed 4 chapters. Even if the update time is a little late, I will still be by your side. Now that the new book is about to start, will you still be by my side and not leave me? In the next few days, I will be writing the new book as well as the old book. I hope that my brothers and sisters who like reading new books will start to follow them. With this experience, don't forget to do missions for the new book this time. When the book ends, let's see how many of you have signed in and received the book on the same day, and how many of you have the highest mission level. These are all things that need to be done. What's the surprise of the highest mission? Oh right. If there are more than 18,800 fans in Myriad Daos Becomes God, please add me, 187539885, I will add you guys into the core group. After the book ends, the core group members will each receive a souvenir. Here, I would like to thank Brother Chin 9857, UK 45 Long Jean, Punishment Demon King, Plowlands Pyuluo, Go To, Zombie, Meat, Love Nest, Kakarot 5996, Myriad Tao, Sha Chong Tian, Call Me Brother Fei, Stida, Zhang Ziwen, Dr. L, 7th Young Master Li, Jiandong Li, Migratory Bird 3B84, The Legend of Bai, and so on. Jason, Faith Square Root, Shin Jianqing, Ivan Chu, Pai Dongyu, DHCYH888, Mingming E9B6, Meng, Zhuing in the Rainy Night, Sui Sui, A Qin Xian Trading Company, Limited, Lululu Who Hurts, Alan Zhang, What's the point of this? Devil Lord, Hoff Shao, Chief Ding 6D1E, Just Porridge Cutie, OU, Ming Ming, Residual Fragrance, Little Fatty Lu, Fuchin DD91, Deadsigar DQ, Little Fatty Yen. Yi Shi, Pengchen Wanli E2A7, Skygate, Xiaoyao 23A4, Flying Hero, Shuei Jing, I'm Yun Yun, Steamed Bun, Hey. Brother Feng, and many other brothers, Shizi won't mention their names. Thank you for every day. Even if some brothers don't like to chat, and some aren't in the group, they always silently support him. Shizi is very touched. WT Young J. Long hashtag you watch V for free. Bow, thank you. Chapter 2351. Some of the energy that Yi Tianxin had consumed was replenished. With the World Tree's permission, she could even borrow some energy. The situation had changed. The defensive formation that was on the verge of breaking was stabilized once again. World Tree. It doesn't matter who is in charge of this celestial realm. Why do you want to get involved in this mess? Demon Nine Clouds retreated a distance and said to the tree spirit of the World Tree. I don't care about other places, but this is the Star Moon City of human sovereign Night Sorrow. If someone else comes to attack, we can't fight because he is my friend. I owe him a big favor. Go back to where you came from. The tree spirit of the World Tree said coldly. Demon Nine Clouds looked at the tree spirit in confusion. He felt that it should be Night Sorrow who owed the World Tree a favor. How could it be that the World Tree owed Night Sorrow? However, at this moment, Demon Nine Clouds knew that the attack had failed. Yi Tianxin was already very difficult to deal with. With the help of the World Tree, the Star Moon City was indestructible. It could even be said that the defensive strength of the World Tree surpassed the indestructible fortress of the Magic Imperial City. I will come again. Although Demon Nine Clouds was unwilling to give up, he understood that if he didn't think of a way, he wouldn't be able to break the Star Moon City. It's useless even if you come again. Even if you reach the Divine Emperor realm, you won't be able to break the defense even if I want to. Go. I won't see you out. The tree spirit waved her sleeves impolitely. This was the domineering power of the World Tree. It was impossible for anyone below the Divine Emperor realm to break her defensive formation. Even if a Divine Emperor realm cultivator came, it was unknown whether they could break it because the energy it contained was very large. Demon Nine Clouds left. The World Tree didn't communicate with anyone and disappeared in a flash. She came out to guard the Star Moon City for Night Sorrow. She didn't want to communicate with anyone else. TF main and version V head, see, so powerful. Yi Tianxin exhaled. She could sense how rich and mellow the energy the World Tree was transmitting to her was. It was even more powerful than her peak condition. That's right. If it wasn't for Lord Tree Supreme, we would have had to move. Star Moon City wouldn't have been able to hold on. Heavenly Concubine said. There was nothing that couldn't be said. Everyone knew that they couldn't hold on anymore. Tran Hung nodded and said, the situation is indeed critical. Now that Star Moon City has been breached, it's a big problem. The connection between the 9 domains world and the celestial realm is a problem. We don't have enough Emperor-rank teleportation crystals. The current Star Moon City was indeed very important to the celestial realm. It was the central link between the celestial realm and the 9 domains. If it was destroyed, then communication and war would not be smooth in the future. Let's see what Demon 9 Clouds will do next. Will he continue to attack our city, or will he give up? King Yewu's face was a little pale. He hadn't recovered from his injuries yet, and he had just been in a high-intensity battle, so his condition wasn't very good. Let's wait and see. If Night Sorrow doesn't come out, then we can only defend Star Moon City. If she wants other places, then we'll give them to her. Tran Hung said. After leaving Star Moon City, Demon 9 Clouds' face didn't look good. She originally thought that she could take down Star Moon City and eliminate some of the Celestial Realm's top forces. Even if she couldn't, she could chase them out of the Celestial Realm. Then, she could cut off the connection between the 9 domains world and the Celestial Realm. She could then lead the Demon Wing clan to occupy the Celestial Realm. However, the World Tree's attack had messed up Demon 9 Clouds' plan. Her attack had no effect at all. In fact, Demon 9 Clouds didn't know that Night Sorrow could travel through the void turbulence. She didn't care about the distance at all. Most importantly, the rule that cultivators above King Realm couldn't enter other worlds didn't apply to the Deluxe Merit Emperor. Night Sorrow could go to any world she wanted. Demon 9 Clouds arrived at the ethereal Imperial City's City Lord's mansion. There were only a few small stewards in the City Lord's mansion. The elders had all withdrawn. The small stewards were very casual, as if Demon 9 Clouds and the others weren't enemies. They cleaned the place and even made tea for Demon 9 Clouds and the others. This made Demon 9 Clouds very angry. The attitude of the 100 races in the celestial realm was very clear. If you want to occupy it, then occupy it. It doesn't matter. Lord Demon Emperor, are we going to attack Tianhuang City? Mo Zhantian asked angrily. He was as depressed as Mo Yutian and Demon 9 Clouds. They were just about to succeed. They could have wiped out a part of the elites of the 100 races in the celestial realm. But now, all their previous efforts were in vain. I'll think about it first. You have to know that Tianhuang City is an empty city. If we can't achieve a critical victory and deal with Night Sorrow, Tran Hung, and Yi Tianxin, it's useless to occupy the city. In fact, we've failed this time. We didn't force out Night Sorrow and didn't deal with the higher-ups of the celestial realm. This operation has lost its meaning. Demon 9 Clouds said. Human Emperor, dog fart Human Emperor. He watched us attack the city, yet he remained indifferent. Dark Feather opened his mouth and said. Shut up. Respecting the opponent is respecting yourself. Don't you understand? Night Sorrow definitely doesn't know about the time limit of my challenge. No one can look down on his character. Not to mention others, I won't allow it. Demon 9 Clouds glared at Dark Feather. Dark Feather didn't say anything. She knew that if she dared to talk nonsense again, Demon 9 Clouds would get angry and kill her. Yin Xiaotian's death by Demon 9 Clouds had already left a shadow in Dark Feather's heart. Spread the news. 1 month later, if Night Sorrow still avoids the battle, Demon 9 Clouds will wash the celestial realm with blood. Wherever the demon winged race goes, not even chickens or dogs will be spared. All life will be killed. After thinking for a while, Demon Nine Clouds made a decision. Demon Nine Clouds felt that this was a great sin. It wasn't just her sin. If Night Sorrow didn't fight, no matter what the reason was, the sin was unavoidable. In fact, at this time, Night Sorrow already knew about the situation. The Nine Domain World's origin body discovered that many people were teleporting to the Nine Domain World. In addition, after Night Sorrow finished his advancement, Night Sorrow woke up. What happened? Night Sorrow came out of the ceiling Heaven Hall and stood in front of Aoi and Yang Lei. There's a war. Yang Lei said. Where's the war? Star Moon City. Night Sorrow asked anxiously. Things have stabilized. Did you come out of seclusion naturally or in a hurry? Datura came back. She came back to inform them that the situation had stabilized and to make them panic. After seeing Night Sorrow, she was worried that Night Sorrow's seclusion was interrupted or forced out. I've completed my breakthrough. I just need to stabilize my cultivation. Night Sorrow replied. He took the teleportation array to the celestial realm and arrived at Star Moon City. Nonsense, who told you to come out of seclusion? Seeing Night Sorrow appear, Yi Tianxin angrily shouted. The war was over. Night Sorrow's seclusion was interrupted. It was equivalent to him persevering in vain. No. I've completed my breakthrough to the soul unification realm. I'm stabilizing my cultivation. What's the situation? Night Sorrow asked. Demon Nine Clouds came and attacked Star Moon City. We couldn't hold on, but Supreme Tree appeared to help us. Lin Piaomiao said. Chapter 2352. Her cultivation level hasn't changed, but she's much stronger now. She must have merged her reincarnated body with her original body. None of us can stop her now, and we can't fight against her even if we join forces. Yi Tianxin said. She originally thought that she was invincible under the Divine Emperor realm, but now she realized that wasn't the case. Demon Nine Clouds' original body had gone through the God-destroying tribulation, so there was still a big difference between them. She retreated. Is there a fortune teller here? Divine where she is and where to attack. Night Sorrow's face was full of murderous intent because he was very angry. Don't get too worked up. Let's go in and have some tea while we talk, Yi Tianxin said to Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow took a deep breath and calmed himself down. He followed Yi Tianxin and Tran Hung into the city lord's mansion. Lin Piaomiao then told them the details of what had just happened. She only gave us 3 months to fight. This is a drastic measure. It seems that she's going all out now. Night Sorrow was a little angry. During your first battle, she was still very magnanimous. Now, it's a pure war. She's unscrupulous, King Yewu said. Demon Nine Clouds only gave them 3 months after guessing that Night Sorrow was in seclusion. He was forcing them step by step and was using the rules of war. Don't worry. I'm almost done settling down. Let's find someone to divine where she is and whether she's attacking us somewhere else, Night Sorrow said. At this time, someone came to report that Demon Nine Clouds was in the City Lord's mansion of the ethereal Imperial City and had issued an ultimatum. 5#*Z, a month later, my heaven realm will be bathed in blood, ha. Yi Shang laughed, because Mo Jillian was really going to use underhanded methods. Then hurry up and stabilize your cultivation level, Sect Elder Duan said. It doesn't matter if we wait for a month before we start massacring the celestial realm. This will give us some time to prepare, Night Sorrow said. We're relieved that you've come out. What's the situation now? Yi Tianxin asked. After Night Sorrow explained his situation, he inquired about Demon Nine Clouds' situation. After abandoning the 2 doppelgangers, the main body's combat power has increased by 45%. How much do you think Demon Nine Clouds' combat power has increased? An increase of 45%? How incredible! That Demon Nine Clouds only improved by about 20%. The gap between you and him has widened again. Yi Tianxin was stunned. As for the specifics, we'll only know after the battle, Night Sorrow said. Night Sorrow's combat power has increased a lot. First of all, he has 3 doppelgangers. In addition, his doppelgangers have never fallen. After the soul fusion, they are perfect, King Yewu said. He knew Night Sorrow's situation very well. Night Sorrow, don't worry about that. Stabilize your cultivation level first and fight her with your peak combat power. I have to go into seclusion as well. I have to give it my all, Tran Heng said to Night Sorrow. Tran Heng, are you going to cultivate the heaven-defying technique? King Yewu asked Tran Heng. Yes, the situation in the celestial realm is not very good. In addition, I have to prepare for the god-destroying tribulation. I can't leave all the matters in the celestial realm to Night Sorrow. Tran Heng nodded. Night Sorrow looked at Tran Heng. He instinctively knew that the secret technique Tran Heng was going to cultivate was risky, but he didn't know how to persuade her. This was because Tran Heng was also working hard for the god-destroying tribulation. It was also his own path. Without asking, Night Sorrow chatted for a while. Then, he told everyone that he was going to stabilize his cultivation level in a normal state. If there were any problems, inform him. It wouldn't affect him. After explaining, Night Sorrow left Xingyue City and returned to the Heaven Sealing Hall to continue stabilizing his cultivation level. In 1 month's time, he could cultivate for 5 years. This time was enough for him. He had already stabilized his cultivation level for a period of time. Tran Heng also went into seclusion in Xingyue City. Then, King Yewu told Yi Tianxin, Lin Piaomiao, and the others about the heaven-defying technique. The heaven-defying technique was a secret technique that could only be cultivated by cultivators in the divine soul unification realm. It required the cultivator to split his soul into 2 and then fuse his soul into 1. This was very risky. It was against the heavens. If it failed, the cultivator's soul would be destroyed. If it succeeded, the cultivator's strength would soar. The heaven-defying technique was a secret technique inheritance that Tran Heng obtained in the ancient world. He had discussed it with King Yewu. After some analysis, they came to the conclusion that the success rate was very low. Now was a critical moment. Tran Heng chose to give it a try. In the past, he was the #1 expert in the celestial realm. Now that he was suppressed by Demon 9 Clouds, he naturally didn't want to give it a try. Yi Tianxin and the others were also helpless. Everyone had their own ambitions. If there was a chance, they would have to give it a try. This was also a preparation for the divine tribulation. Night Sorrow and Tran Heng went into seclusion. The Clan Elder Council was still in operation. The Clan Elder's original body in Xingyue City still had clones outside. They could still mobilize people. Demon 9 Clouds stayed in Ethereal Imperial City. She also entered the spatial treasure to stabilize her cultivation level. She had just broken through. Before going into seclusion, Demon 9 Clouds ordered Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian not to act recklessly. But Mo Yuqing, who didn't hear this, felt that the Night Moon Villa was not bad. She brought the 2 of them to stay in the Night Moon Villa. Lin Piaomiao was furious when she heard this news. Even Demon 9 Clouds didn't want to stay. A piece of trash is staying in. I will definitely kill her. Lin Piaomiao's face was covered with frost. She was really angry. Night Moon Villa was home. It was Night Sorrow's and her home. Now that someone had moved in, it was a slap in the face. Don't be anxious. Those who can do this are not very capable. When Night Sorrow comes out of seclusion, we will kill her and directly take her life, Yi Tianxin said. Yi Tianxin wasn't a good-tempered person. Mo Yuqing's actions not only made Lin Piaomiao angry, she was also very angry. Because she liked the Night Moon Villa and had stayed in the Night Moon Villa before. Night Sorrow didn't know about this matter. He stayed in the soul-nurturing palace in the Heaven Sealing Palace Hall, stabilizing his cultivation while continuing to strengthen his soul. This time, Night Sorrow had made arrangements. He told the 9-domain world origin body to call him on the 28th day. He couldn't miss this time. If Demon 9 Clouds really wanted to massacre the celestial realm, then he would be responsible. Therefore, he had to stop it. On the 28th day, Night Sorrow was awakened by the 9-domain world origin body. He had also finished his cultivation and his cultivation level had completely stabilized. After returning home and drinking a cup of tea with his parents, Night Sorrow arrived at Star Moon City. Tran Hung was still in seclusion. After all, cultivating a secret art was different from Night Sorrow, who was only stabilizing his cultivation level. It required a lot of time. When he arrived at Star Moon Villa, Night Sorrow saw Yi Tianxin, King Yawu, Sect Elder Duan, Lin Piaomiao and the others. Done stabilizing? Yi Tianxin looked at Night Sorrow and asked. Done. Feel free to fight. Night Sorrow smiled. Night Sorrow, our house has been occupied. Lin Piaomiao said. Which house? Who occupied it? Night Sorrow was stunned. Our Night Moon Villa has been occupied by a woman from the Demon Wing clan. She is the follower behind Demon 9 Clouds. Lin Piaomiao said. Chapter 2353. Night Sorrow was not afraid of fighting. Now that Demon 9 Clouds had come out, he would kill. Since someone had occupied his residence, he would not be polite. Seeing that Night Sorrow had set out, Yi Tianxin, King Yawu, Elder Duan, Lin Piaomiao, Pu Luo, and the other enforcement elders of the Council of Elders also followed. If Night Sorrow could deal with Demon 9 Clouds, then Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian would not be enough to deal with Yi Tianxin, King Yawu, and Elder Duan, so there was no danger. When they arrived at the ethereal Imperial City area, Night Sorrow flung his sleeve, and energy wrapped around a group of people as they flew rapidly. In just a moment, they had arrived at the Night Moon Villa in the city. With the release of Night Sorrow's Dao domain, the very surprised Mo Yuqing was directly forced to kneel on the ground, without the slightest strength to resist. The other two First Emperor Tribulation Demon Winged Race people were directly killed by Yi Tianxin. With his left hand stretched out, Night Sorrow grabbed Mo Yuqing in front of him. You can't kill me, the Demon Empress will not let you go. Mo Yuqing was dumbfounded. Scare me? Are you out of your mind? I dare to come here, do you think I will be afraid? I will kill you in front of her. She will be here soon. Night Sorrow smiled. Mo Yuqing used Demon 9 Clouds to scare him, but he was brainless. In addition, Night Sorrow discovered that Demon 9 Clouds had come. When they arrived near the ethereal Imperial City, Night Sorrow led everyone to fly quickly, in order to race against time. Before Demon 9 Clouds could react, they had to get rid of Mo Yuqing, who had occupied his residence. Demon 9 Clouds took Mo Zhantian, Mo Yutian, and the others to the Night Moon Villa. Night Sorrow clasped Dark Feather's shoulder with his left hand, looking at Demon 9 Clouds. Demon 9 Clouds had used the time limit twice to force him, and even threatened to massacre the celestial realm. Night Sorrow was already angry, because Demon 9 Clouds did not care about old friendships, and was playing with pure war. You're finally here, Demon 9 Clouds said as he looked at Night Sorrow. You have to come. If you don't come, you're going to wash the celestial realm with blood. Demon 9 Clouds, are you going to take over my mansion, my home? Night Sorrow asked Demon 9 Clouds. Demon 9 Clouds. I told you not to mess around. Why did you enter this mansion? After Demon 9 Clouds whispered his name, he looked at Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian. He knew that Night Sorrow called him by his full name, which meant that he no longer cared about personal feelings. We don't know about this matter. She acted on her own initiative, Mo Zhantian said. No one is willing to take responsibility. Then it's easy. Night Sorrow's left hand burst with energy, and the head of Mo Yuqing, who had the cultivation of the tribulation of the three emperors, was shattered, and his soul was destroyed. Now that Night Sorrow had dealt with Mo Yuqing, he did not need to deliberately attack Mo Yuqing's soul, and directly killed him. Demon Nine Clouds' face was filled with murderous intent, because Night Sorrow had slapped him in the face. This was a declaration of war without any leeway. My home, is it something that others can take over just because they want to? As a person, one should tailor one's clothes according to one's ability. Demon Nine Clouds, if you want to fight, I will fight with you. Night Sorrow flung his sleeve, sending Yi Tianxin and the others far away, and then raised his right hand, holding the Samsara halberd in his hand. Demon Nine Clouds also took out his halberd. She knew that giving him a month's time was too much, and Night Sorrow would have finished his closed-door training. This was something she did not think about, because 1 month was really not enough to do anything in the world of cultivators. She decided to be very cautious, but she still gave Night Sorrow a chance to rise. As Night Sorrow's Samsara halberd smashed down, Demon Nine Clouds' body floated back, and he left the Night Moon Mansion. It was not that she cherished the Night Moon Mansion, but she felt that the domineering aura of the Samsara halberd was invincible. As Demon Nine Clouds retreated, Night Sorrow naturally chased after him. The two of them fought in the air outside the Night Moon Mansion. After the battle, Demon Nine Clouds finally understood how much Night Sorrow had improved during this period of time. The speed that she was proud of was useless in front of Night Sorrow, and the strength that she used to excel in was also useless in front of Night Sorrow. Her attributes were also suppressed. She was the same as Tran Hung and the others. Her taboo attribute was at the intermediate level, and it could not be compared to Night Sorrow's top-tier taboo attribute. As for the soul attack, Demon Nine Clouds did not use it, because she knew that it was useless. Night Sorrow had the 9 regions origin pearl to protect his spirit sea. She knew this. If she used the soul attack, it would attract Night Sorrow's soul attack, and she would be in an even more passive position. The battle was very intense, and Mo Jillian was losing ground bit by bit. She tried to hold on, but after the halberds clashed once, the web between her thumb and index finger was torn, and the tendons in her arms were damaged. If they clashed a few more times, her arms would be gone. In terms of speed and movement techniques, Night Sorrow's spacetime realm and void steps were much faster than her. Demon Nine Clouds was beaten up passively. She and Night Sorrow were not on the same level, and their combat power was not on the same level. In just 10 minutes, Demon Nine Clouds was injured. Night Sorrow's halberd pierced through her chest, and a bloody hole appeared. You are strong enough. I admit that I am not your match now. Let's fight again next time. Demon Nine Clouds flashed and retreated. First 6 shots. However, Night Sorrow would not let her go so easily. With the suppression of her precept domain and the control of the human Emperor's seal, she continued to attack Demon Nine Clouds. Crushing. Yi Shang was able to suppress Zhu Jillian completely. Mo Jillian was also able to fuse several bodies into one. However, her original body's soul was incomplete, so she wasn't in the perfect state. She couldn't compare to Yi Shang at all. Yi Shang was also able to fuse several bodies into one. However, her original body's soul was incomplete, so she wasn't in the perfect state. She couldn't compare with Yi Shang. Demon Nine Clouds kept retreating, but her injuries were getting worse. At this moment, Night Sorrow was the god of war. She could not withstand any of his attacks. Submit, and I will give you one more chance. Night Sorrow waved her halberd and shouted. Seal. At this moment, Demon Nine Clouds waved her hand and shot out a yellow energy ball. The energy ball exploded and wrapped around Night Sorrow. Then, Demon Nine Clouds did not attack anyone. She quickly retreated with Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian wrapped in the energy ball. After Night Sorrow broke free from the yellow energy ball, Demon Nine Clouds, Mo Zhantian, and Mo Yutian disappeared. The rest, kill. Night Sorrow charged towards the remaining demon-winged clan members. Yi Tianxin, King Yawu, Sect Elder Duan, and the others attacked the experts of the demon-winged clan under Demon Nine Clouds' command. Without their top experts, the demon-winged clan members could not resist at all. Soon, they were all killed. Senior Uncle, Sister Xian, Arrange for someone to perform divination and dig out the three of them. Night Sorrow said. He was a little annoyed. Originally, they could have solved this crisis. But because of the secret treasure that Demon Nine Clouds threw out at the end, all their efforts were in vain. They probably won't show up in a short time. Besides, they won't dare to show up because they are not your opponent. If not for the secret treasure protecting her, she wouldn't have been able to escape today. Yi Tianxin said. In the battle between Night Sorrow and Demon Nine Clouds, anyone with a discerning eye could see that the gap between them was huge. It was so huge that the former could be crushed and killed. At the last moment, Demon Nine Clouds used the secret treasure to buy himself a way out. Chapter 2354. I know that secret treasure. It's an eye of the ancestor of the demon wings. Back then, the ancestor of the demon wings failed to pass the god-destroying trial and left behind a skull. The skull is in the destroyed demon imperial city. 2 eyes were left behind and became secret treasures. Many reincarnations ago, one was used. The other was in the hands of the ancestor of the demon wings. Now that the ancestor of the demon wings has used it, she can't win the battle and she doesn't have any life-saving methods. It's possible that she will attempt the god-destroying trial, said the heavenly concubine. Hearing Night Sorrow and the heavenly concubine's words, everyone was silent. This was another difficult problem. The battle just now made everyone understand, including Demon Nine Clouds himself. The difference between her and Night Sorrow was huge. The next time they met, she wouldn't have any secret treasures. Her life would be a problem. Under such circumstances, the only choice was to attempt the god-destroying trial. Originally, she had a long lifespan. But after she mastered the forbidden attribute, she only has 1 era left. Maybe she will attempt the god-destroying trial soon, said King Yawu. Then here's the problem. Will Night Sorrow attempt the god-destroying trial or not? It's risky. If it doesn't go well, she will win without a fight. If she doesn't attempt the god-destroying trial, she will attempt the god-destroying trial first. If she succeeds, we will be in trouble again. Lin Piao Miao was annoyed. It was a difficult choice. The problem is that no one knows the difference between a half-step divine emperor and a divine emperor. If the difference isn't big, then Night Sorrow can still fight. If the difference is big, then it's not good, said Yi Tianxin. A tangled problem was in front of everyone. Originally, Yi Shan's situation had been very good. He had been able to completely dominate an epoch. However, Mo Jillian's return had broken this. It doesn't matter if you don't let me live a peaceful life. I'll give it my all. Yi Shan exhaled and smiled. /DL head unspecified currency, C0. Everyone in the Night Moon Villa looked at Night Sorrow. Everyone had different feelings. They were sad. They were sad. Everyone knew that Night Sorrow originally had a good life. As long as he returned to the 9 Domains world, no one could do anything to him. The current Night Sorrow might not be able to defeat the Demon Nine Clouds in the Celestial Realm, but he definitely could in the 9 Domains world because that was his home ground. Night Sorrow, I'm sorry. It's our incompetence as elders. King Yawu's eyes were filled with regret. It was the same for Elder Duan and the others as well. Originally, a cycle of life was not a problem. But now that it has been shortened to an era, it has to be shortened again. Lin Piao Miao's eyes were red. Because it was her husband who had to take the risk. Sister Xian Air, maybe this is the beginning of eternity. There are no records of the god-destroying tribulation, no divine emperor realm cultivator. Maybe I will be the one to write this chapter. Night Sorrow didn't care about what other people thought. He stood up and hugged Lin Piaomiao before leaving in a flash. He wanted to go home. Seeing Night Sorrow leave, Yi Tianxin and the others were filled with guilt. When they reached the 9 Domains world, Night Sorrow let go of Lin Piaomiao and helped her tidy up her hair. Sister Xian Air, when you go home, don't talk about the results of our analysis. Just talk about the victory. I will. Lin Piaomiao turned her head away. Night Sorrow's words made her heart ache even more. At this point, Night Sorrow still didn't want his family to worry. Night Sorrow and Lin Piaomiao returned to the city in the sky and told their family about their victory. Father is mighty. Yi Xiaolei shook Night Sorrow's shoulder and said, You are indeed mighty. Can you be more mighty? When are you going to bring the other half back for me to see? Night Sorrow looked at his daughter and asked with a smile. I will hurry. I will cook for you later. Yi Xiaolei pulled Night Sorrow to sit down and said, Okay, you can do that. Night Sorrow nodded. Both of his daughters were very considerate and reasonable. They didn't have any temper. This was what Night Sorrow was most assured about. Yi Xiaolei went to the kitchen. Night Sorrow took the tea that Yang Lei handed him and drank it. He then looked at Yi Xiaoluo and Yi Xiaokei. Your elder sister and junior brother Gu Yi are doing well. Father can rest assured. Only your third sister is left. Remember, if anyone bullies her or makes her unhappy, kill them. Yes. Although Yi Xiaoluo and Yi Xiaokei were a little confused, they still bowed and accepted the order. They didn't understand why their father suddenly said this. Not only were Yi Xiaoluo and Yi Xiaokei confused, the others also didn't understand because Night Sorrow rarely said the word kill. He also rarely had the intention to kill. Only Lin Piaomiao understood that Night Sorrow was worried that she wouldn't be able to pass the God-destroying tribulation smoothly. Therefore, he told them what he was worried about. You've all achieved something. You're all the pillars of the family. That's pretty good. Night Sorrow said with a smile. What's wrong with you today? You're speaking so stupidly. Yu Qing stood up and slapped her son. Stupidly. Night Sorrow rubbed his head and smiled. Grandma, do you know that my father is now the supreme figure of the 100 clans of the Celestial Realm and the 9 domains world? You're the only one who can hit him. Yi Xiaokei said. What's wrong with me hitting him? You're the only one who's capable now. Your father didn't even dodge when I hit him. When I wanted to hit you, you dared to run. If you run again next time, your father will break your legs. Yu Qing glared at Yi Xiaokei. Grandma, you're still complaining. I just ran once. I won't run next time. Seeing that his father, mother, and aunt were all looking at him, Yi Xiaok's voice was so low that it was almost inaudible. Our family is the only one who's in this situation now. In the Celestial Realm, many Imperial Realm cultivators have lost their families. They don't even have the chance to be scolded by their families, Lin Piaomiao said. She was deeply aware of this point. Xiaokei is very obedient. He's just trying to make me happy. Look at you guys. Don't scare the child. Yu Qing pulled Yi Xiaokei to her side. Night Sorrow smiled and nodded. He knew that his children were very filial and worry-free. After having dinner with his family, Night Sorrow went to the wooden boat on the lake. He wanted to calm down because he was about to break through the biggest hurdle of his life. It was also a hurdle that countless top-notch cultivators had to endure. It was the God-destroying tribulation. Lin Piaomiao went to the wooden boat. Night Sorrow, aren't you going to tell your family? This is a big deal. Let's not talk about it. I don't want them to worry. Night Sorrow said. It's nothing. If there's anything, we'll face it together as a family. Lin Piaomiao said. We'll talk about it when the time comes. I'm going to rest for a while. Demon Nine Cloud's injuries are more serious. Even if she wants to break through the God-destroying tribulation, she'll need time. Night Sorrow said. Night Moon Villa was very depressing. Everyone was thinking about Night Sorrow's God-destroying tribulation. Chapter 2355. Yi Tianxin shook her head. She really didn't know what Night Sorrow's title was. Immortal Godly Emperor. This is the title given by the Origin Universe Sovereign of the Celestial Realm. This means that he has a high chance of passing the God-destroying tribulation. His aptitude far surpasses that of his predecessors. Which Grand Emperor of Merit has achieved this? In addition, his body is strong. It's not something that other cultivators can compare to. Demon Nine Clouds' body is one that has passed the God-destroying tribulation. But so what? He's still not as good as Night Sorrow. Night Sorrow's weakness is his soul. If his soul is strong enough, then passing the God-destroying tribulation shouldn't be a problem, said Elder Duan. Immortal Godly Emperor. I can only wish him well, said Yi Tianxin. The others nodded. At this moment, they could only wish Night Sorrow well. Demon Nine Clouds brought Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian back to the realm. After changing their location, they entered the spatial treasure. After doing this, Demon Nine Clouds spat out a mouthful of blood. Lord Demon Emperor. Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian's expressions changed. Demon Nine Clouds' situation wasn't good. Waving her hand, Demon Nine Clouds wiped the corner of her mouth with a handkerchief. Night Sorrow is invincible. He's truly invincible under the Godly Emperor realm. It's not the Godly Emperor realm where he can kill whoever he wants. It's a huge difference. Why is it like this? Mo Yutian was unwilling to accept this. The victory that was in his hands had disappeared. I originally thought that giving him a month's time was a mistake. In fact, it wasn't. Night Sorrow's cultivation is very stable. He should have finished his breakthrough a month ago. Tran Heng, King Yewu, and the others thought that he was in seclusion and didn't call him. If we did, we would have lost a month ago. Demon Nine Clouds said. She was the demon ancestor. Before the God-destroying tribulation, she had lived a reincarnation cycle. Therefore, she had her own analysis of everything. How did he cultivate so fast? The heavenly Tao is unfair. Yutian Mo's eyes were red. There's a reason why he can cultivate so quickly. He has talent, opportunity, and hard work. He's a meritorious body and has been blessed by the heavenly Tao along the way. In addition, he's using the method of proving his Tao through strength to increase his realm. His cultivation is unstoppable. Also, he really has put in a lot of effort, Demon Nine Clouds said. She had been with Night Sorrow for a long time, so she knew Night Sorrow very well. Then what should we do? Should we return to Tianhuang region? Mo Zhantian looked at Demon Nine Clouds. No, he's invincible under the Godly Emperor layer, but what about Godly Emperors? I want to make a bet, Demon Nine Clouds said. During the battle with Night Sorrow, Demon Nine Clouds had been injured, but his source energy had not been damaged. He would be fine after some recovery. She had thought of this as well, so she had immediately used her secret artifact to retreat after being injured. Lord Demon Emperor, if we can't do it, then let's retreat. You've just returned and you want to risk it all. The price is too high, Mo Zhantian said. I have to risk it all. I'm the same as Night Sorrow. I've come into contact with the forbidden energy. We both have a lifespan of an era, so we have to risk it all. Demon Nine Clouds shook his head. There were some things that could not be helped. Mo Zhantian and Yutian Mo did not say anything else. Demon Nine Clouds had already made his decision. Night Sorrow stayed in the Nine Regions world. The heavenly concubine had also returned. Yi Tianxin had also arrived at the Nine Regions city. They knew that Demon Nine Clouds would not appear before he was certain. The celestial realm was safe. They saw Night Sorrow at the lake in Sky City. Night Sorrow and his wives were drinking tea and chatting. The heavenly concubine looked at Night Sorrow and said, Night Sorrow, don't compete with Demon Nine Clouds in terms of speed. The two of you have lived for different years. She has lived for a long time, and she has a deep foundation and experience. You can try when you are certain. This is something that has a deep meaning to the celestial realm's 100 races and the Nine Regions world tree. We cannot afford to fail. Night Sorrow smiled and said, Thank you. I will settle down for a while. Besides, Demon Nine Clouds won't be able to transcend the tribulation so quickly. Her injuries are not light. She will need some time to recover. It will be impossible for her to recover to her peak state without a period of time. Yi Tianxin was a little angry. How pressuring. Otherwise, she can settle down for an era. What is this? Night Sorrow smiled and said, sometimes, you have to believe in fate. Of course, whether or not you accept it is another matter. I believe in fate, but I don't accept it. That's right. If you had accepted your fate, you would probably be a bumpkin in eastern Xian region right now, not to mention having so many beautiful wives. Yang Lei smiled and said. Did anyone say they were as pretty as a flower? Yi Shan muttered as he looked at Yang Lei. What do you mean? Are you saying that I am old? I am about the same as before. Yang Lei looked at herself. Of course not. You will always be the most beautiful in my heart. You are the flowers that will never wither. Night Sorrow said. You really know how to coax people. I have to hand it to you. The heavenly concubine shook her head. You are wrong. I am not coaxing people. I am treating them sincerely. Night Sorrow corrected the heavenly concubine. You win. Now, you are the biggest winner in life. Your wives and children are all emperors. Who can compare to you? The heavenly concubine looked at Night Sorrow with disdain. Zisong Fu Hai, everyone chatted casually. Night Sorrow didn't need to cultivate now. He just needed to settle down. Everything in the celestial realm had returned to normal. As for being attacked, the 100 races in the celestial realm weren't afraid. Demon Nine Clouds could only attack one place. Before he could attack a second place, the 100 races in the celestial realm would react. If Night Sorrow caught her shadow again, she would be dead for sure. Last time, she had a secret treasure. How could she escape this time? Yi Tianxin stayed at the heavenly concubine's residence. The two of them got along quite well. Their levels were about the same, so they could communicate. As for Yi Shang, he stayed at home. Sometimes, he would walk around and see his brothers in the god-slaying team and drink with them. The god-slaying team was a legend in the 9 regions world. They had followed Realm Lord Night Sorrow and fought countless battles. None of them had fallen. Moreover, all of them were emperors. Those who didn't join back then had all become emperors after 2,000 years of hard work. It was simply a legend. The status of the members of the god-slaying team was also very high. They were all brothers of Realm Lord Night Sorrow. Every one of them was very broad-minded. The regions that they managed were all very peaceful, and they handled matters very fairly. This time, Night Sorrow went to the Qingtian region to see Long Jin. When Night Sorrow arrived, Long Jin, who was lying in the courtyard and sunbathing, was very happy. He called for his wife to bring over wine in dragon language and opened it. Both of them had big bowls. We all know about the previous battle. It's a pity that we didn't make it in time to see it. Long Jin said. It's okay. Are you used to this place? Lord Golden Dragon King didn't catch you? Night Sorrow asked with a smile. He won't. He doesn't need to worry about me in the 9 regions world. However, if dragon language and I have dragon children, we must send them back. Long Jin said. Then hurry up. As your uncle, I will prepare a greeting gift. Night Sorrow said. Chapter 2356. It's nothing much. After a while, I'll go into seclusion. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Something's still not right. You can't hide anything from your brothers. Long Jin said. After thinking for a while, Night Sorrow nodded. Then I'll tell you. I plan to go through the god-destroying tribulation after resting for a while. But you know the risks, so if something happens to me, help me take care of my family. Because they were brothers, Night Sorrow didn't want to hide it from Long Jin. Brother. Must you go through the god-destroying tribulation? Aren't we fine now? After hearing Night Sorrow's words, the dish in dragon language's hand fell to the ground and shattered. Because Night Sorrow treated her like a sister, Night Sorrow was her closest brother. Dragon language, I won't hide it from you guys. The situation isn't good. Night Sorrow told Long Jean and Dragon language about the current situation without hiding anything. No way. Why do you have to be at the front every time something happens? Elder brother is the supreme realm lord of the 9 regions world, not a pawn to charge and break through enemy lines, no. Long Yu roared in dissatisfaction. Dragon language, calm down first and listen to me. There are things that people do and don't do. I don't want to avoid some responsibilities. If I do, I won't be able to face myself in the future. Don't worry, I still have some confidence. Night Sorrow nodded with a smile. Captain, I won't say anything to persuade you, nor will I drag you down. You don't have to worry about some things. We're brothers who go through life and death together. Your matter is my matter. Long Jean nodded. With you and the brothers of the God-killing squad, I don't have to worry about anything. Night Sorrow drank a big bowl of wine. You can do it. There's nothing that you and us brothers can't do in this world. Long Jean said. Night Sorrow didn't mention this matter again. He just drank with Long Jean and talked about the past. Captain, it's not that I want to criticize you, but how much trouble have you caused because of your kindness? In the First Realm War, the world they conquered was the Profound Mysteries realm. Lord Heavenly Concubine had a disturbance, but fortunately, the disturbance was resolved. The Second Realm War was in the Netherworld realm, and you didn't attack ruthlessly. Fine. You've made an even bigger mess this time, Long Jean said as he poured a cup of wine for Yishang. It's easy for you to say that. Those are all fresh lives. Do you really want to eradicate them all? How could you do such a thing? For you to be able to do such a thing, I have to say I admire you. Yishan looked at Long Jean with disdain. Ha! I wouldn't do it anyway. Long Jean laughed. He and Night Sorrow were the same kind of people. They had a bottom line when doing things. There were some things that they wouldn't do. After staying in Long Jin's mansion for a while, Night Sorrow left. What kind of world is this? Why does Big Brother have to shoulder everything? Dragon language kicked a stool into pieces. With great power comes great responsibility. Captain has a good relationship with the higher-ups of the Heaven Realm's 100 clans. There are some things that he can't just sit by and do nothing, Long Jean said. Night Sorrow walked around the 9-domain world and looked at the mountains and rivers of the 9-domain world. In this state, Night Sorrow spent 100 years. He felt that it was about time. Firstly, his state of mind was very stable. Secondly, Demon 9 Clouds should have recovered after 100 years of cultivation. If he let Demon 9 Clouds go through the tribulation first, and if he succeeded, no one could stop him. In a small courtyard in Bamboo Garden City, Night Sorrow closed the book in his hand. Pack up. You don't have to come to class tomorrow. Teacher, are you giving us a holiday? There were more than 20 children in the courtyard. No, I have something to do. I can't stay here. Remember what I said. If you want to be a good person, you must have a progressive heart. Night Sorrow said with a smile. Teacher, we want to learn martial arts. You said that we should go to class obediently and teach us martial arts. We want to protect the 9-domain world. A boy said. Teacher doesn't have time for this. However, he has arrangements. Zhang Ling is here to see him. Night Sorrow raised his head and shouted. At this moment, Zhang Ling, who was drinking tea in the Bamboo Garden City Lord's mansion, was shocked. He quickly flew towards the source of the voice. He knew who was here. Entering the courtyard, Zhang Ling bowed and greeted, Greetings, Realm Lord. Get up. We disciples of the Medicine Valley can't be so polite. Night Sorrow waved his hand and helped Zhang Ling up. When did you come, Realm Lord? Zhang Ling asked with some embarrassment. He didn't know that Night Sorrow was here. 10 years. I have been a teacher here for 10 years. I have taught many children. I have to leave. However, I promised them that I would let them embark on the path of cultivation. Help me send them to the Taixian Peak in the Medicine Valley and hand them over to Chiue and Ningyun. Knight Sorrow's body gradually faded after he finished speaking. He had already left. Farewell, Realm Lord. Zhang Ling bowed and shouted. At the same time, he heaved a sigh of relief. He felt a lot of pressure. Little guys, you are about to embark on a glorious path. Zhang Ling said. Most $new T chapters are supra unspecified currency B, you are the city lord. I have seen you speak before. What's wrong with our teacher? An older girl asked. The teacher is the Lord's Lord. You will understand in the future. Remember his name. His name is Night Sorrow. Gather at the City Lord's mansion in half a month. I will send you to the Medicine Valley. Zhang Ling instructed the children. Night Sorrow left. He became a teacher because when he came to Bamboo Garden City, he remembered that he had never gone to school when he was studying under the guidance of Father Gu. Therefore, he became a teacher for 10 years. He was very famous in this corner of Bamboo Garden City because he never accepted gifts when he taught students. After leaving Bamboo Garden City, Night Sorrow directly returned to the city in the sky. When he was a teacher, he often returned to the city in the sky. Traveling was nothing to him. Our teacher is back. How are your children? Yang Lei said with a smile when she saw Night Sorrow return. They are doing well. I have also made it clear that I will not go there in the future. Those children will have a bright future. Night Sorrow said. After staying at home for 2 days, Night Sorrow left and entered the wilderness outside the city in the sky. He wanted to organize his thoughts before he went through the God-destroying tribulation. No one followed Night Sorrow. Lin Piaomiao and the others all understood that Night Sorrow, who was no longer a teacher, must have made another decision. In the boundary outside the celestial realm, Demon Nine Clouds used 100 years in the real world and 5,000 years to recover from the time acceleration. Only then did she completely recover from the injury caused by Night Sorrow's halberd piercing her chest. Chapter 2357. Demon Nine Clouds' only choice was to pass the God-destroying tribulation. 100 years ago, the gap between her and Night Sorrow was huge. They were not on the same level. Demon Nine Clouds was very clear about this gap. It was impossible to close it without passing the God-destroying tribulation. Otherwise, let alone defeating Night Sorrow, it would be difficult to even save his life. Even Demon Nine Clouds had some doubts. Even if he passed the God-destroying tribulation, the result of the battle was still unknown. Perhaps he could only remain undefeated, or have some advantages. After all, from being crushed to surpassing, to being able to kill, it required a substantial improvement, and the combat strength needed was not just a little bit. There was no way out. Demon Nine Clouds was very clear that this was because she had hidden well in the past 100 years. She had been in the space treasure, recovering from her injuries in the time acceleration, and did not walk in front of people. If she was caught by the people of the celestial realm, Night Sorrow would have already come. The relationship between the two was already irreconcilable. Thinking of this, Demon Nine Clouds scolded Dark Feather in his heart. Dark Feather lived in the Night Moon Villa, and this was one of the main reasons why Night Sorrow was angry. This violated Night Sorrow's bottom line. Demon Nine Clouds knew best what kind of person Night Sorrow was. Along the way, Night Sorrow was protecting. In order to protect his home, to protect his family, to protect the Nine Domains world. Dark Feather also lived in the Night Moon Villa, this was to challenge Night Sorrow's obsession. While thinking, Demon Nine Clouds went deep into the vast wilderness. Every world had a vast wilderness, and there were rare and uninhabited places. Demon Nine Clouds did this in order to make it impossible for the diviners of the celestial realm to find his location. After finding a more secluded place, Demon Nine Clouds stopped flying, roughly surveyed the surroundings, and decided to rest here. After stabilizing his thoughts and emotions, he attacked the God-destroying tribulation. Coincidentally, when Demon Nine Clouds was stabilizing his thoughts and accumulating momentum, the diviners of the Elders Association's star-plucking sect had divined. Sect Elder Star-Plucking Sect, look. That fellow's surroundings have changed. Lightning bolts are swimming all over his body. What is he cultivating? The divination master who had made the divination informed Sect Elder Star-Plucking Sect, who was meditating with his eyes closed. Over the years, the Star-Plucking Sect Elder would arrange for people to do divinations every once in a while. Although he knew that Demon Nine Clouds had been hiding in the space treasure, the Star-Plucking Sect Elder did not give up on divining. Although he could not confirm Demon Nine Clouds' current location, if Demon Nine Clouds moved and appeared in the celestial realm, he would be discovered immediately. Seeing this scene, the Star-Plucking Sect Elder immediately called Elder Duan and Lin Piaomiao. Lin Piaomiao's original body was in the Nine Clouds world, while her battle avatar was in the celestial realm, presiding over the Elders Association's normal operations. Destructive thunder, no. Reincarnation thunder. Mo Jillian has accumulated a lot of it. She's accumulating power to break through the god-destroying calamity. Sect Elder Duan's face changed. He was sure of what Mo Jillian was trying to do. Where is he? Lin Piaomiao was also a little anxious, because Demon Nine Clouds' opponent was her husband. The situation in the celestial realm was dominated by her husband, Night Sorrow, and Demon Nine Clouds. But now, Demon Nine Clouds had already gone to attack the god-destroying tribulation. Inform Night Sorrow. Tell Night Sorrow about this. Elder Duan said to Lin Piaomiao. Night Sorrow is not in the city in the sky. He left after informing me. Lin Piaomiao shook her head. Then break his spirit crystal. Elder Duan took out a spirit crystal and was about to break it. Night Sorrow had left it for him to send messages. No. We must not disturb him. Lin Piaomiao reached out and stopped Elder Duan, who was about to break Night Sorrow's spirit crystal. We cannot disturb him. Are you saying? Elder Duan looked at Lin Piaomiao. Lin Piaomiao did not speak, but only nodded. She knew that Night Sorrow had decided not to be a teacher and left home. It was very likely that he was going to attack the god-destroying tribulation. It was definitely not a good choice to disturb Night Sorrow at this time. I understand. We almost delayed something important. Inform the people to go to Xingyue City. Whether he comes or not, we cannot let anything happen to Xingyue City. Night Sorrow is not here, we can only consider defending Xingyue City. The Grand Elder said. After making the decision, Lin Piaomiao sent someone to inform King Yewu. As for Yi Tianxin and Heavenly Concubine, it was her who informed them. Because Yi Tianxin and Heavenly Concubine lived on a small island in the lake below the city in the sky. It was the place where Night Sorrow planted his herbs. Soon, the higher-ups of the 100 clans of the celestial realm gathered in Xingyue City. Elder Zhai Xing brought along a large group of fortune-tellers. They continuously divined Demon Nine Clouds. They wanted to know what Demon Nine Clouds was doing as soon as possible. The difference between her and Night Sorrow is huge. If she wants to defeat Night Sorrow and conquer the celestial realm, then the god-destroying tribulation is her only choice. I wonder how Night Sorrow is doing. King Yewu shook his head as he looked at the fortune-teller's divination. I don't know. I don't know where he went either. Lin Piaomiao shook her head. As the two of them were talking, a blurry image appeared in front of a fortune-teller. The blurry image was surrounded by golden light. Then, the image shook and disappeared. The fortune-teller also spat out a mouthful of blood. You are the fortune-teller for Night Sorrow? Elder Duan asked the fortune-teller. The fortune-teller's aura was a little weak. He nodded at Elder Duan. That's the human emperor. That's the merit emperor. A long time ago, other people's fortune-telling skills were ineffective against him. He could sense it too. It's impossible to peek into his situation. Don't act on your own in the future. Elder Duan reprimanded. The fortune-teller bowed. He was a newly recruited fortune-teller. He didn't know or understand these things. Elder Duan, why are you so angry? Tran Hung appeared in front of everyone. The city lord has come out of seclusion. Did it go well? Elder Duan and the others looked at Tran Hung. Although it was a huge risk, I survived. The seclusion for 100 years was worth it. Tran Hung nodded. He had sped up his cultivation in the spatial treasure. He had split his soul into two and strengthened it. Then, he had merged his soul into one. This process took 5,000 years. It was about the same time as Demon Nine Clouds' recovery. This is very good. The city lord should take a look. Demon Nine Clouds seems to be in seclusion. He should be trying to break through the God-destroying tribulation. Elder Duan pointed at Demon Nine Clouds in the image. Tran Hung looked at the image and nodded. Don't worry. With the Shura Empress and the Tree Supreme, it won't be easy for her to break through Star Moon City. Besides, she can't ignore my attacks. She shouldn't be able to focus on breaking through the city. After cultivating the heaven-defying art, Tran Hung, who was already very strong, became even stronger. At this moment, ripples appeared in the area where Demon Nine Clouds was. Then, the image was drowned out. Chapter 2358. Divination was against the heavens. This was why the Qing Emperor didn't want Knight Sorrow to practice divination. It would hurt his luck and make his future cultivation difficult. Those who practiced divination were all cultivators who had exhausted their potential. Divination could see the secrets of the heavens, but there was a limit. The God-destroying trial was the most powerful trial in the world. Divination couldn't withstand its pressure and power, so it couldn't be divined. Don't do it for now. We'll do it in 7 days, Yi Tianxin said. The Zhaixing clan elder nodded. He understood what Yi Tianxin meant. He wasn't the only one who understood. Everyone else understood as well. The results would be out in 7 days. At that time, whether or not Demon Nine Clouds had passed the God-destroying trial, they could do the divination. Where's Knight Sorrow? Tran Hung looked around. Knight Sorrow might have gone into seclusion to try for the God-destroying trial. I don't know the details, Lin Piaomiao said. Yo Wu, Elder Duan, what's wrong with you two? Why didn't you stop him? He hasn't had enough time to settle down. It's too risky to try for him now. Also, whether or not he can pass the God-destroying trial is very important to the races of the Celestial Realm and the Nine Zones world. Even if the Celestial Realm is attacked and destroyed, we have to swallow it. We have to settle down. Hearing that Knight Sorrow had gone into seclusion to try for the God-destroying trial, Tran Hung was a bit angry. He was angry that King Yewu and Elder Duan didn't stop him. He was worried that Knight Sorrow didn't have enough time to settle down. Every cultivator of the Emperor's trial had to settle down for countless years, let alone try for the God-destroying trial. King Yewu and Elder Duan didn't say anything. They didn't know either. But whether they knew or not, they had to listen to Tran Hung's scolding. The 4 heroes from the previous reincarnation were led by Tran Hung, King Yewu, Elder Duan, and the former peerless sword Emperor Yan Wushuang all listened to him. Master Tran Hung, please don't be angry. Martial Uncle and Sect Elder Duan just found out, said Lin Piaomiao. Tran Hung nodded and did not continue the topic. It was already a foregone conclusion that Knight Sorrow would go through the God-destroying tribulation. It was useless to pursue the matter now. Although they did not know if the Demon Nine Clouds would survive the God-destroying tribulation, the 100 races of the Celestial Realm were still making arrangements. Without Knight Sorrow, the only place that the 100 races of the Celestial Realm could guard was Star Moon City. Furthermore, in terms of importance, Star Moon City surpassed Heavenly Desolate City and Divine Capital City. With the help of the World Tree in terms of defense, the conditions for defense were also unique. Everyone was very quiet. It was a torture because the developments in the next few days would determine the future direction of the Celestial Realm. If the Demon Nine Clouds failed to survive the God-destroying tribulation, then everything would be over. The Demon Wing clan would no longer have the capital to act recklessly. Without the Demon Imperial City as a backing, Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian would be trampled on by Yi Tianxin, Tran Heng, and King Yewu. It could even be said that if the Demon Nine Clouds failed to survive the tribulation, Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian might not even dare to appear. However, if the Demon Nine Clouds succeeded, then the 100 races of the Celestial Realm would be in great danger. The masters and higher-ups of the 100 races of the Celestial Realm gathered in Starmoon City. They were all waiting for the results in 7 days. They were waiting to know if the Demon Nine Clouds would succeed or fail. However, Lin Piaomiao was not. She was worried about Night Sorrow's situation. She felt that whether the Demon Nine Clouds could survive the tribulation was not the key. The key was whether the Night Sorrow could succeed. If the Night Sorrow succeeded, then even if the Demon Nine Clouds survived the God-destroying tribulation, it would be useless. He was defeated by the Night Sorrow now, and he would be defeated in the future. Piaomiao, this is the mistake of the older generation. We should not have let the Night Sorrow go through the God-destroying tribulation in such a hurry. We should have continued to consolidate. It is not important whether we can protect the rule of the Celestial Realm. It is not as important as the consolidation of the Night Sorrow. In the past, the Celestial Realm has fallen into enemy hands. It is fine as long as we can take it back. It is not worth risking the future for a small piece of land, Tran Heng said to Lin Piaomiao when they arrived at the Yi family's mansion in Starmoon City. Thank you, Master Tran Heng, for your concern for the Night Sorrow. Piaomiao understands what you said, and so does the Night Sorrow. However, understanding and doing are two different things. Night Sorrow cannot do it. Moreover, he has consolidated for 100 years. I believe in him, Lin Piaomiao said. Tran Heng nodded. He knew Night Sorrow's character very well. In the past, 7 days would pass in the blink of an eye. However, these 7 days passed very slowly. As soon as the 7 days passed, the fortune teller started the divination. However, the divination was not successful. The image appeared for a moment and then shattered. One more time, Tran Heng called for another fortune teller. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation. After the fortune teller divined again, Tran Heng nodded. Everyone, do not worry. It is the energy of the God-destroying tribulation that is interfering with the divination. This means that Demon Nine Clouds has not passed the God-destroying tribulation. After hearing Tran Heng's words, everyone heaved a sigh of relief. Everyone was very worried just now. If Demon Nine Clouds had fallen, the divination would have revealed it. If the divination did not reveal anything, it meant that there was a problem. After Tran Heng explained, everyone felt more at ease. The waiting and torment continued. In fact, Demon Nine Clouds had not passed the God-destroying tribulation yet. She had been adjusting her state of mind. Demon Nine Clouds had been accumulating her power. The God-destroying tribulation had appeared, but she had not triggered it. The tribulation had not descended yet. Demon Nine Clouds, who had passed the God-destroying tribulation once, knew how terrifying the God-destroying tribulation was. If she was not careful, she would lose everything. All her previous efforts and struggles would be for naught. If she succeeded, she would become an unprecedented divine emperor. She would be able to wield the heavenly Tao and control the cycle of reincarnation. Night Sorrow went to the wasteland and found a giant mountain peak. He sat down cross-legged at the top of the mountain. He knew that he could continue to stabilize and improve his strength, but he would not be able to improve much in a short period of time. Now was a dangerous time. If he allowed Demon Nine Clouds to pass the tribulation and attack first, he would die. This was the main reason why he had made this decision. After calming down, Night Sorrow began to circulate the energy in his body. He was very cautious. No matter if it was his body, true energy, or soul, they had all reached a peak. The God-destroying tribulation was coming. It was hard to say how strong it would be. The tribulation varied from person to person. After preparing for 3 days, Night Sorrow's body trembled. Golden light swirled around his body. 13 Sumeru world lines shot out to protect his body. Then he released his energy and triggered the god-destroying tribulation. Tribulation clouds appeared and covered the sky where Night Sorrow was. The sun had disappeared, leaving behind only a ball of pitch-black tribulation clouds with golden edges that were shrouded in sunlight. Night Sorrow stood up and pulled out one of the 2 weapons on his back, the Samsara halberd. Originally, Night Sorrow had 3 bodies and 3 weapons. However, the weapons of the 9 domain avatars had not been upgraded recently, so they were not very compatible. Now, Night Sorrow was using the Samsara halberd and the blood Chelan evil-slaying spear. The tribulation clouds kept rolling. The pressure caused everything in the world to calm down. Chapter 23:59. As Night Sorrow murmured, the tribulation cloud in the sky began to change. It began to shrink. However, the smaller it was, the more Night Sorrow could feel the terrifying energy it contained. In a moment, the energy of the tribulation cloud shrank to a certain extent and turned into a human-shaped energy body. The energy body stretched out its left hand and a bolt of lightning connected its palm to the sky. The lightning crackled and crackled. In its right hand was a long halberd that shone with black light. God-destroying tribulation body. Night Sorrow knew that this was the God-destroying tribulation. If he defeated this energy body, he would become a divine emperor realm cultivator. What was a god? A divine emperor realm cultivator was a god. He could control the way of heaven, control reincarnation, and dominate everything. Very calm. Night Sorrow held the Samsara halberd. He was not excited, not afraid, but calm. At this moment, Night Sorrow's state of mind could only be described as calm. The tribulation body took shape. It waved the halberd and charged toward Night Sorrow. At the same time, it attacked with the lightning in its left hand. Fight! Night Sorrow charged forward while waving the Samsara halberd. The Samsara halberd faced the tribulation body's weapon head-on. Night Sorrow knew that there was no shortcut to surviving the god-destroying tribulation. The tribulation body was formed by the energy of the tribulation. It would never disperse until it was defeated and destroyed. With a boom, Night Sorrow and the tribulation body separated. The tribulation body retreated a little, but Night Sorrow was also forced to retreat. Moreover, the lightning energy rushed into the tribulation body through the Samsara halberd. Night Sorrow's arm was numb. Powerful. Night Sorrow felt the power of the reincarnation body. He had been so proud of himself and had not gained the upper hand in close combat. In addition, the energy that had entered his body was lightning with the reincarnation attribute. It was very destructive. Earlier, he had been using the primordial energy to protect himself. Now, he had switched to the reincarnation attribute to neutralize this energy. While Yi Shang was thinking, the reincarnation body attacked again, directly attacking Yi Shang. Its attack was incomparably ferocious. Yi Shang's previous attack had not caused much damage to it. Night Sorrow waved the Samsara halberd and fought with the reincarnation in the air. In a battle of attrition, Night Sorrow's Thousand Realms barrier blocked the lightning attacks from the tribulation bodies. Then, he clashed with the tribulation bodies again and again. After fighting for a while, another wave of attacks headed toward Night Sorrow. A green lightning bolt shot out from the head of the reincarnation. The lightning bolt ignored Night Sorrow's Thousand Realms defense and headed straight for his head. It was a soul attack. At the critical moment, Night Sorrow activated the 9-domain origin bead. A purple halo appeared above his head. Then, Night Sorrow used the soul extinguishing slash. The crescent blade of the soul extinguishing slash slashed at the lightning. Lightning attacks, close-range attacks, and soul attacks. The reincarnation body had no shortcomings. It attacked Night Sorrow violently. All of them were unique skills with extremely high damage. Damn it! Night Sorrow finally understood why the divine annihilation tribulation was so deadly. The strength of the tribulation body was too strong. Night Sorrow was very confident. He believed that he was the overlord below the divine emperor realm. Demon Nine Clouds was very strong. He had no problem killing ordinary Divine Soul Unison Realm experts. Even Divine Soul Unison Realm experts like Yi Tianxin and King Yewu couldn't stop him. After a long time, they would be crushed and killed. But what about him? He had already reached a stage where he could suppress and kill Mo Jillian. However, he could only barely block the attack of the reincarnation of the God-destroying tribulation. If other Divine Soul Unity Realm cultivators were to come, they would be killed instantly. This tribulation was simply fatal. Edited by Lifer, Fingerfox. At this time, Night Sorrow had used all his skills. He used the power of merit, the human Tao ceremony to protect his body, the human Emperor's seal to suppress the reincarnation body, the strength of his Tao domain to the highest level, the Thousand Realms defense to the maximum, and the soul extinguishing slash. No one knew or saw this battle. The intensity of the battle had far exceeded the battle between Night Sorrow and Demon Nine Clouds. The battle continued. In order to minimize the consumption, Night Sorrow quickly activated the leakless true body and used every bit of his energy on the blade. After fighting for an hour, Night Sorrow found a crucial problem. It was also a hope. The reincarnation body was being consumed. Although it was small, he found that the energy contained in the reincarnation body was decreasing. This was an opportunity. Night Sorrow, who had discovered this, no longer pursued high damage. He used the primordial destruction slash to melt and consume the energy of the reincarnation body. In order to minimize the damage, Night Sorrow and the reincarnation body fought around the peak that reached the sky. In fact, there was no peak. The peak had been flattened by the energy emitted by Night Sorrow and the reincarnation body. They were only in this area. %*update H at most, I at most, Night Sorrow was at a disadvantage. However, he did not care. As long as he could consume the reincarnation body's energy, he could ensure that he would not be injured. After half a day, Night Sorrow's true energy had been depleted by 35%. However, the reincarnation body of the God-destroying tribulation still had 80%. Come on. Night Sorrow took out a dozen Emperor Spirit Stones and shattered them. Then, he created a protective chi shield inside the Thousand Realms defense body. The protective chi shield wrapped around the energy and did not dissipate. Then, he began to absorb the energy. The energy he used during the battle was converted from his true energy to his physical strength. The conversion of energy made Night Sorrow's situation even worse. He was being suppressed by the reincarnation bodies, and even Night Sorrow was being pushed into the ground, where he was continuously suppressed. Night Sorrow knew that he could not continue fighting. If he continued to fight, the ground of the Nine Regions world would be penetrated. He would be pushed into the chaotic streams of space. At that time, his situation would be worse than it was now. After all, in the Nine Regions world, he still had the support of the world origin. If he left the Nine Regions world, his fighting strength would decrease. After using the space-time realm and dodging the reincarnation body's halberd attack, Night Sorrow changed his position and flew towards the ground. Night Sorrow's tactic was to stabilize himself and recover his true energy. The battle was still going on. Night Sorrow's physical strength and true energy were constantly switching. He wanted to balance the consumption and replenishment. This was a good idea, but in reality, it was not working. His consumption was small, but it was still continuing. Calm down. Night Sorrow knew that he had to calm down. Descend. Suppress. Night Sorrow yelled and used the Merit Emperor's verbal law. Heavenly Tao energy appeared and descended. However, it did not suppress. This was because the reincarnation body of the God-destroying tribulation had surpassed Night Sorrow's intermediate Emperor Merit Emperor rank cultivation. This caused Night Sorrow's verbal law to fail. This method would not work. Night Sorrow could only endure and compete with the energy of the reincarnation body. Night Sorrow felt that unless the Demon Nine Clouds' God-destroying tribulation was much weaker than his own tribulation, the Demon Nine Clouds would not be able to endure. 4 days passed. Night Sorrow's energy and true energy were left with 10%. However, the reincarnation body still had 20%. This meant that even if Night Sorrow's energy was used up, the reincarnation body could still fight and slash. Chapter 2360. Night Sorrow did some calculations. If he didn't go all out, he would only have 10% less energy than the tribulation energy body. He wouldn't be able to fight anymore, and the tribulation energy body would still have 10% of energy left. It could still kill him. Absorbing energy from spiritual stones and other types of energy while fighting was too slow. Night Sorrow's protective shield was also filled with spiritual energy from spiritual stones, but the absorption speed couldn't keep up. He could only try to replenish his energy with the same origin as his flesh and blood to see if he could make it in time. Using the Wuji body tempering art was his only choice. The battle was still going on. Night Sorrow persisted, withstood, and continued to expend energy. After absorbing the energy from his left arm, Night Sorrow's remaining true chi was completely used up. His body's energy had recovered to less than 15%. The tribulation energy body also had 15% energy, which was equivalent to Night Sorrow's true chi. He had used up 5% of the tribulation energy body's energy. Continue. Night Sorrow gritted his teeth and broke his left leg. He continued to absorb energy and fight. Night Sorrow's protective shield was filled with golden red energy. It was the energy of his flesh and blood. Brothers and sisters of various platforms, the end of this book is in the first chapter of the new book, Redbud Token. If you haven't seen it yet, please search for Cool Craftsman, Redbud Token. Group number 195782661. It was extremely tragic. When Night Sorrow's legs and left hand were consumed by the Wuji body tempering art, the tribulation energy body was also officially exhausted. Night Sorrow used the Samsara halberd to disperse it. When the tribulation energy body dispersed, Night Sorrow's body shone with golden light. The surrounding void also shone brightly. Auspicious clouds appeared in the sky, and then they all gathered towards Night Sorrow's body. After surviving the God-destroying tribulation, Night Sorrow understood that he was no longer a cultivator of the tribulation of 9 emperors. He was no longer a divine soul unity realm cultivator. He had a different feeling. He could control everything and destroy everything. He was already a divine emperor. Golden light entered his body, and the energy of heaven and earth entered his body. Night Sorrow felt that he was everything in the world. Floating in the void, Night Sorrow began to regenerate his broken limbs. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation. Night Sorrow's body contained a great amount of energy. It wasn't easy to regenerate his broken limbs. It would take time. Demon 9 Clouds also began her tribulation. Everyone was shocked. Something must have happened to the diviner. Something must have happened to the diviner. She succeeded. Divine emperors are gods. Gods can't be blasphemed. Divining divine emperors and peeping on divine emperors will have to pay the price. Yi Tianxin murmured. She had come to a conclusion. Let's defend. Tran Hung sighed. They didn't want to see this result. But since it had happened, they could only accept it. Lin Piaomiao, Datura, and the others were even more depressed. Night Sorrow had to take care of everything. Is there any news about Night Sorrow? Yi Tianxin asked Lin Piaomiao. Lin Piaomiao shook her head. No one had any news about Night Sorrow. They could only wait. After Mo Jillian passed the God-destroying tribulation, no one could stop him anymore. In the past, only Yi Shang could suppress Mo Jillian before he passed the God-destroying tribulation. Now, no one could touch him. Time slowly slipped away. Yi Shang's legs slowly recovered and became solid bit by bit. Soon. Night Sorrow's face was filled with joy. He could go home after his arms recovered. He didn't want to go home with a crippled body. He didn't want his family to worry about him. As for the recovery, Night Sorrow felt that it would be fast. He was the world lord of the 9-domain world. His speed of absorbing energy was very fast. Demon 9 Clouds' injuries were much lighter than Night Sorrow's. He only needed to recuperate for a while. He didn't need to stabilize his realm. When Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian saw Demon Nine Clouds, they immediately prostrated themselves on the ground. The halo around Demon Nine Clouds' body gave them a lot of pressure. Get up. Our demon-winged race has been attacking the celestial realm for 1,000 reincarnations. A whole 1,000 reincarnations. This reincarnation will end. Celestial realm and supreme world belong to our demon-winged race. Demon Nine Clouds said. Congratulations, Lord. You've become an unprecedented divine emperor. Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian bowed to Demon Nine Clouds again. Let's go. We'll take down Tianhuang City and open up the passage. We'll set up the teleportation array in Demon Imperial City. Then, we'll take care of Xingyue City. This time, we'll kill them all in one fell swoop. We'll send our army to crush the celestial realm's elites. Demon Nine Clouds said to Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian. Then, the three of them left the celestial realm and flew towards Tianhuang City. This time, the three of them were swaggering. They were discovered by the people of the God Devil Castle and reported to Xingyue City. Sect Elder Lin, give the order. Leave some low-level cultivators clones in Tianhuang City and Shindu City. Leave all your original bodies. Tran Heng said to Lin Piaomiao. Lin Piaomiao nodded. She understood that if they couldn't stop Demon Nine Clouds, the Celestial Realm's 100 tribes would have to go from being proactive to passive. They would have to enter a defensive phase to preserve their strength. Demon Nine Clouds and the other two arrived at Tianhuang City. This city has withstood countless of our attacks. It'll be our fortress in the future. There's no need to destroy it. Our demon-winged race needs it too. If it's badly damaged, we'll have to rebuild it. It'll delay our development. Demon Nine Clouds said to Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian as they flew over Tianhuang City. It was easy to set up the teleportation array. Mo Zhantian and Mo Yutian then mobilized the troops of the 100 Kings tribe of the demon-winged race. The demon-winged race had lost many experts in the celestial realm. However, that was only a portion of the demon-winged race. In 2 days, the demon-winged race's troops were all assembled. Standing in the air, Demon Nine Clouds waved his arm and gave the order to set off. The demon-winged race's army didn't launch a large-scale attack. Instead, they went straight to Xingyue City. Demon Nine Clouds wanted to start a decisive battle. He wanted to deal with the upper echelons of the 100 tribes of the celestial realm. They're here. We'll have to trouble Lord Tian Xian to control the array. We'll cooperate with the defense. Tran Heng said to Yi Tianxin. Yi Tianxin nodded. He then clasped his hands together and cupped them towards the void of Xingyue City. Lord Supreme Tree, we need your help. Green branches appeared. One of them rested on Yi Tianxin's shoulder. Then, the tree's spirit appeared. Night Sorrow isn't here. No, he's probably in closed-door cultivation. Yi Tianxin said. Then let's defend. I don't know how powerful a divine emperor is. Let's try it together. Tree Spirit said. Night Sorrow, you won't have the chance to delay this time. There's no need to run from each other. Demon Nine Clouds shouted towards Xingyue City. Chapter 2361. There's no point in talking so much. If you don't show up, then what do you mean by hiding? Demon Nine Clouds looked at Lin Piaomiao and said. You've changed. You do things unscrupulously and even speak against your heart. Our friendship is a thing of the past, Jun Xuanji, who was standing behind Lin Piaomiao, said. Yes, it's a thing of the past. Zhu Nine Clouds is just a part of my eternal life, a small memory, Demon Nine Clouds said. No one spoke anymore. It was a meaningless battle of words. Demon Nine Clouds was already unscrupulous. No matter what they said, it was useless. Demon Nine Clouds waved his halberd and a halberd light flew towards the defensive array of Star Moon City. Yi Tianxin stretched out his right arm and sent out the Azura sword chi that was strengthened by the array. However, the effect this time was completely different from the previous time. Boom! After Demon Nine Clouds' halberd broke Yi Tianxin's sword chi, the halberd light landed on the defensive array of the city, causing the entire city to tremble. Cracks even appeared on the ground of Star Moon City. The attack of a divine emperor was incomparably powerful. Just one attack was enough to shake Star Moon City. A part of the energy flowed through the ground and hit the teleportation array. Knight Sorrow, who was originally sitting cross-legged, opened his eyes. He shook his newly recovered left arm and raised his head to look at the void. Is the war coming? Knight Sorrow had recognized the teleportation crystal of Star Moon City as its master. Therefore, he could feel it when it received an intense energy impact. Looking at his left hand that was only missing a nail, Knight Sorrow smiled. Fortunately, I've completed the condensation. I don't need to be crippled. Knight Sorrow's body turned faint. Then, he appeared 1,000,000 miles away. After a few flashes, he returned to the city in the sky. Without saying anything, Knight Sorrow entered the teleportation array and started the teleportation. Your father is back. Let's go. When Lin Piaomiao's true body detected Knight Sorrow's figure, she called out to her family. If Knight Sorrow appeared at this moment, it meant that he had successfully passed the tribulation. She was extremely happy. Mo Jillian began his frenzied assault on the defensive array of Star Moon City. Even with the support of the World Tree, the defensive array was still in a precarious situation. The energy of the World Tree was massive, but the quality of the energy was different. Once again, Mo Jillian was attacking a single point. One more time. Break for me. Mo Tianji's body danced as she waved her halberd again. With this strike, Demon Nine Clouds' great desolate war halberd broke through the defensive grand array, blasting a hole in it. She flew in and slashed her great desolate war halberd towards Yi Tianxin's head. She wanted to kill Yi Tianxin, who was controlling the array formation. Unable to move, Yi Tianxin was suppressed by Demon Nine Clouds' divine domain. She couldn't move even if she wanted to. She could only watch as the great desolate war halberd flew towards her head. Yi Tianxin closed her eyes. She had no regrets. She had no choice but to die at the hands of the God King. She had also done her best for the 100 races of the celestial realm. However, there was no sound of the halberd entering her body. Yi Tianxin felt that something was wrong and opened her eyes. In front of Yi Tianxin's eyes was a white hand. It was just that there were no fingernails. The hand was holding the halberd steadily. Knight Sorrow had appeared. The moment he appeared, Yi Tianxin was in danger. This moment was fixed. Demon Nine Clouds' body was in the air. The great desolate war halberd flew out, but the tip was in Knight Sorrow's left hand. Break! Demon Nine Clouds' right arm trembled as he continued to stab. But in fact, it was as if Demon Nine Clouds hadn't used any strength. The great desolate war halberd was still firmly in Knight Sorrow's hand. At this moment, the Samsara halberd in Knight Sorrow's right arm moved. It was swung towards Demon Nine Clouds. Demon Nine Clouds' body pressed down to avoid Knight Sorrow's attack. At the same time, he pulled out the great desolate war halberd. With a crisp sound, the great desolate war halberd broke. The tip was in Knight Sorrow's left hand. Demon Nine Clouds lifted the great desolate war halberd that was missing its tip. He broke through the defensive array and retreated into the air. Be careful. She's a God King. Yi Tianxin said as he looked at Knight Sorrow, who didn't chase after him. God King. I'm also a God King. Her God King title seems a bit fake. Knight Sorrow said as he raised his left hand. The tip of the great desolate war halberd in his hand shattered and then turned into nothingness. Knight Sorrow, you also succeeded. Demon Nine Clouds' eyes were filled with shock. She felt that she would be invincible after entering the God King realm. But Knight Sorrow appeared. He was much stronger than her. They were both God Kings, but their levels were different. If you can succeed, why can't I? Aren't you being too shady now? Knight Sorrow looked at Demon Nine Clouds and shook his head. He had already given up on saving Demon Nine Clouds. Because the former Demon Nine Clouds had disappeared after the fusion. That bit of emotion had been assimilated by Demon Nine Clouds. She's a shameless villain now. She said you were running away. Jun Xuanji shouted angrily. Running away. I, Knight Sorrow, am an indomitable spirit. When have I ever run away from a problem? Demon Nine Clouds, why do you have to pour dirty water on others? Knight Sorrow smiled. Then let's fight. Demon Nine Clouds knew that the situation was not good. It was not that she did not work hard, but Knight Sorrow had risen too quickly. She did not give Knight Sorrow any time. You lost. I'll give you a chance to reincarnate. You can reincarnate yourself. Knight Sorrow looked at Demon Nine Clouds and said. Reincarnate. I'm a God King. I've surpassed life and death. I'm eternal. Why should I reincarnate? Demon Nine Clouds was angry. Knight Sorrow said that she had lost without fighting. This meant that Knight Sorrow was confident and did not treat her as an opponent on the same level. If your heart is righteous, I'll give you eternal life. But your bones are filled with aggression, so you must reincarnate. I'll purify you. Maybe in the future, you'll be Zhu Nine Clouds. Demon Nine Clouds will definitely fall. Knight Sorrow shook his head. Kill. Demon Nine Clouds was angry. After hearing Knight Sorrow's words, she felt that she was very inferior. She was also a God King. Why should Knight Sorrow decide her fate? She refused to accept it. At this time, Knight Sorrow stretched out his left hand. A golden energy hand appeared in the air and slapped Demon Nine Clouds. Demon Nine Clouds was slapped to the ground. Then, Knight Sorrow's body grew. He stretched out his left hand and grabbed the heavily injured Zhu Nine Clouds. You're a God King. But I, Knight Sorrow, am the virtuous God King. I'm an immortal God King. It's not the same. This is fate. After saying that, Knight Sorrow clenched his left hand. Demon Nine Clouds' body turned into ashes. Only her soul was left. However, she was still in Knight Sorrow's control. You're ruthless. I won't let you go. Demon Nine Clouds' soul was still struggling. You don't have a chance. I've said it before. Demon Nine Clouds must fall. I hope that one day, I'll see Zhu Nine Clouds, not you. Yishang placed the reincarnation halberd on his back and then touched Mo Tianji's soul in his left hand. He opened the void and shattered Mo Jiuyun's soul into pieces before releasing them into the void. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. It's time to end this. With a wave of his left hand, Yishang tore through the void. With a wave of his sleeve, the Devil Wing race army that was still frozen in the air and unable to leave was turned to dust. Their soul fragments were sent into the chaotic streams of the void by Yishang. Is this what it means to wield the heavenly Tao and control reincarnation? If you have any questions, you can find me in the Nine Regions world. Knight Sorrow muttered to himself as he shook his head. After giving some instructions, he left. He didn't want to care about the rest of the matters. He didn't need to care about them. In March, the peach blossoms bloomed. There were banquets everywhere in the city in the sky. It was Knight Sorrow's God King celebration. The Yi family was greeting the guests. Knight Sorrow was chatting with his parents, Old Man Gu, Tran Heng, King Yewu, Yi Tianxin, Heavenly Concubine, Wu Lingfei, and other elders. Aunt Fei, you can stay in the city in the sky from now on. Knight Sorrow invited her. Sure. With the guidance of a God King like you, I can make progress quickly. Wu Lingfei nodded with a smile. Knight Sorrow, Sect Elder Duan will come later. He has some matters to deal with. He asked Martial Uncle to send his congratulations first. By the way, what does it mean to wield the heavenly Tao and control reincarnation? King Yewu asked. I don't know the specifics. I can decide some things and change some rules. Take Martial Uncle for example. If Martial Uncle reaches the end of his lifespan, I can change that. Maybe that's what it means to wield reincarnation. Night Sorrow said. Is it good to go against the heavens? Tran Hung asked. It's not very good, but everyone I know has karma with me. It's not a big problem, so don't worry. Night Sorrow said. Father, stop chatting. The uncles of the god-slaying team are all clamoring to have a drink with you. It's all over now. Yi Qingyan entered the main hall of the mansion. Cool, Smith, Z Network's original unspecified currency S first release, haha. Tran Hung, Martial Uncle, you can't leave. I'll go see my brothers first. Night Sorrow stood up and said with a smile. The story ended here. After typing these words, she felt very sad. It was as if his child had grown up and left his side. He was very reluctant to part. Thank you for your company for more than a year. Companionship is everlasting. With everyone's support, I've achieved good results. She thanks everyone. Where there's a beginning, there's an end. Separation is for the next reunion. I'll wait for everyone in my new book, The Redbud Token. The Redbud Token is my personal style. It's also the style I'm good at. I believe that I can write a good book that everyone will like. She has a hard-working attitude. Chapter 2362. Welcome, Lord God King. When Night Sorrow appeared, the members of the god-slaying team stood up and greeted him respectfully. Night Sorrow's eyes contained the sun, moon, and stars. He could control everything. Night Sorrow couldn't help but frown, thinking that there was a gap between them. Long Jin, Lei Bao, and the others laughed loudly. Even the most reserved Qin Zhen couldn't help but purse his lips. So they were joking. Night Sorrow couldn't help but feel helpless. However, he was in a good mood. Today, brothers, let's get drunk. The hidden danger of the devil-winged race was resolved, and the world was at peace. Time passed quickly, and 300 years passed in the blink of an eye. On this day, Night Sorrow found Tran Hung, King Yawu, and Wu Lingfei. He told them that he couldn't suppress his cultivation and was about to ascend to the God King realm. The heavenly Tao was interfering, and he had to ascend to the God King realm. After arranging everything, Night Sorrow brought his family from Bamboo Garden Village to Tianhuang City. They walked the path of the past, reminiscing about the joys and frustrations, and stabilized their mood and cultivation. The day of ascension. Dark clouds hung low in the sky, and the entire Nine Regions world was quiet. Night Sorrow only informed Tran Hung, King Yawu, and a few others because the Nine Regions world needed Tran Hung and King Yawu to oversee it. Only Yin Yanxiao appeared from the Night Moon dynasty. She stood side by side with Tianyu. The others were kept in the clear sky pagoda by Night Sorrow, ready to ascend together. Apart from the Night Moon dynasty's people, Night Sorrow only brought Wu Lingfei. She wanted to find the Phoenix ancestral grounds in the God King realm. If she could find it, it would be a great opportunity. Thank you for sending me off. Everyone, take care. Flowers will bloom again, and people will meet again. Night Sorrow, who was wearing a brand new navy blue robe, stepped forward and caressed Yin Yanxiao's hair. He bid farewell to everyone and left behind the Emperor's seal and the Emperor's brush. This was to bring peace to the world. Suddenly, the power of merit rushed into his body. At this moment, Night Sorrow no longer restrained his sharpness. He released his primordial energy and reincarnation energy, forming a protective mist around his body. He soared into the sky. Not long after flying out of the Chaos World group, the violent heavenly thunder earthly fire appeared. It was the first time a creature of the celestial realm had ascended to the celestial realm since the creation of the world, not to mention that he had brought his family. Night Sorrow did not dare to be careless. He defended himself with his protective energy. If the situation went wrong, he would immediately throw his people and Wu Lingfei out. Boom! 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 Streaks of violent thunderbolts bombarded Night Sorrow's body continuously. These thunderbolts were several times more terrifying than the god-destroying tribulation. However, Night Sorrow was no longer in the divine soul unity realm. He was a true god emperor. Naturally, he was not the same as before. He relied on his cultivation and valiant body to withstand the thunderbolts and continued to fly upwards. Not good. The earthly fire is attacking the Clear Sky Pagoda. The Clear Sky Pagoda is showing signs of being incinerated. Sikong Chiyu, Yang Lei, and the others in the Clear Sky Pagoda shouted at the same time. The earthly fire was everywhere. It burned not only Night Sorrow's body, but also the Clear Sky Pagoda in his dantian. It wanted to burn everyone into ashes. Break for me. Family was his reverse scale. He could not allow anyone to violate it. The heavenly thunder earthly fire was even more so. Night Sorrow shouted. He used the energy in his body to expel the burning earthly fire and protect the Clear Sky Pagoda. His body resisted the heavenly thunder earthly fire. Soon, visible cracks appeared on his crystal-like body. The heavenly thunder earthly fire was very special. It was impossible to avoid it. His Thousand Realms defense was also useless. He could only resist it. If he did not cultivate the myriad Tao Tome, Night Sorrow's body would have disintegrated. This won't do. No matter how difficult it is, I have to increase my flying speed. The heavenly thunder earthly fire became more and more violent. The pressure on Night Sorrow also increased. Soon, half of the energy in his body was consumed. He also felt a heavy pressure in his heart. If this continued, it would be like boiling a frog in warm water. It would be easy for him to die. He had to increase his flying speed. 2/3 of the energy in my body has been consumed. I'm still in the heavenly thunder earthly fire. Not long after, Night Sorrow's energy was almost exhausted. However, the heavenly thunder earthly fire did not dissipate. Helpless, he could only support the power of virtue and continue to resist the heavenly thunder earthly fire. This was one of his most important trump cards. In the Clear Sky Pagoda, Night Moon's clansmen and Wu Lingfei were anxious. However, they were not strong enough to help. They could only pray silently. Space barrier. It's almost done. The power of virtue was very strong. However, it was only enough for Night Sorrow to hold on. Fortunately, the divine world was not far away. He was confident. What is this? Seeing that victory was in sight, Night Sorrow and the others noticed that the heavenly thunder earthly fire and the heavenly thunder earthly fire were gathering not far away. They slowly formed a huge lightning dragon. The lightning dragon's aura was extremely oppressive. It was as if it could destroy the world. Danger! Husband, be careful. Even Aoi, who was the most stable, could not help but shout out a warning. Father, be careful. Yi Qingyan and Yi Xiaolei were so anxious that they were about to cry. It's okay. As long as I'm still alive, I will protect everyone. Although the situation was critical, Night Sorrow did not retreat. While controlling the power of virtue, he broke his left arm and used the everlasting body tempering art to absorb the energy of the same origin as his flesh. He continued to advance. Night Sorrow faced the danger. The lightning dragon did not attack. Instead, it spat out heavenly thunder fire, which contained the power of destruction. It burned Night Sorrow's body. In an instant, the heavenly thunder fire around Night Sorrow's body was burned away. Cracks also appeared on the Clear Sky Pagoda. If this continued, everyone in the pagoda would be burned to death. If I can't defend against this heavenly thunder fire, everyone will be annihilated. Night Sorrow's energy was not enough to defend against the heavenly thunder fire. He broke his right arm and legs and continuously used the everlasting body tempering art to increase his divine domain to the peak. Husband. Datura murmured worriedly. Son. Yi Wuyo and Yu Qing held each other's hands tightly. The heavenly thunder fire burned Night Sorrow as if it was burning their hearts. The others in the clear sky pagoda were also distressed. Many people's eyes had already turned red. They were clear that if Night Sorrow did not divert too much energy to protect the clear sky pagoda, he should have succeeded in ascending long ago. I can't fall. Night Sorrow persisted until the end. He was like a lamp that had run out of oil, but he was still flying upwards. Finally, when the clear sky pagoda was about to be destroyed, Night Sorrow broke through the seal and arrived at a brand new space. I didn't let everyone down. Night Sorrow was too miserable to look at, but he was happy. Other than him and the clear sky pagoda, no one was injured. This was already the best result. The spatial passage slowly closed. Without a trace of energy in his body, Night Sorrow, who had fainted, uncontrollably fell from the sky to the ground. Divine Realm. The sky was higher, the earth was more solid, the spiritual energy was vast, the space was extremely stable, and the heavenly Tao's laws were more complete. Presumably, cultivating in such an environment would be easier. But how could the people who came out of the clear sky pagoda be in the mood to study cultivation matters? They all gathered around Night Sorrow. Lin Piaomiao fished out a medicinal pill and sent it into Night Sorrow's mouth. The medicinal pill was refined before Night Sorrow became a deity. Its grade was limited, but it was better than nothing. Ha! Lord Military Advisor indeed did not calculate wrongly. There is indeed a creator who succeeded in ascending. This is a tremendous lucky chance. Right at this time, two cultivators, one male and one female, flew down from above the layers of clouds. Their divine power was vast and mighty, as dazzling as the sun. Their pressure made people's hearts palpitate. Clearly, they had already become deities. The male cultivator among them was wearing a white brocade robe with a crown on his head. His appearance had a rather scholarly temperament, but there was a heavy vicious aura between his brows. His gaze that examined everyone was extremely unruly. Floating in the air with his hands behind his back, he said coldly, "A bunch of ants, still not kneeling on the ground after seeing this seat." Chapter 2363. May I know who you are? Although our cultivation levels are low, we are not slaves who will kneel before anyone. Night Sorrow's grandfather, Yi Linghuan, retorted. The Yi family members were prideful cultivators. They would kneel to the heavens, to the earth, to their masters, and to their parents. But they would never do such a thing. Otherwise, their Tao hearts would be unstable and they would not submit. Little ant, you have not even reached the immortal state and you dare to speak so arrogantly. You really don't know what's good for you. Do you know that I am Ling Yun, a subordinate of the Purple Mansion Divine Lord? This is my Tao partner, Azure Glass Divine Lord. I can crush your supreme existence with a stomp of my feet. The white-robed cultivator, Ling Yun, scolded with a sinister expression. Then, he raised his hand and shot out a beam of light. With a groan, Yi Linghuan's dantian was destroyed. To a cultivator, having one's dantian destroyed meant losing all their cultivation. It was even more painful than having one's soul destroyed. Ling Yun, who could kill him with one blow, was a vicious person. You beast, you hurt my grandfather for no reason. You will die a horrible death. Night Sorrow's condition was not good. Lin Piaomiao was already the strongest in the family. Seeing her grandfather being humiliated, she attacked without hesitation. I'll kill you. Yi Xiaoluo attacked at the same time. Although it was like a mayfly trying to shake a tree, it could not stop their determination to take revenge. This was the Yi family's unyielding character. Ha ha ha. You overestimate yourself. A firefly trying to compete with the moon. Ling Yun smirked and pointed two fingers. Lin Piaomiao and Yi Xiaoluo's dantians were destroyed as well. In reality, with Ling Yun's cultivation level, he did not need to attack to intimidate everyone. But he was playing with them like a cat playing with a mouse. Stop. Don't be rash. Night Sorrow, who had just woken up, saw the tragedy happen and instantly understood what happened. Anger filled his heart and his Dao heart trembled. But he gritted his teeth and stopped his family members who were about to continue attacking. Night Sorrow could not see through the strength of the male and female cultivators. This proved that the difference between them was too obvious. They were completely powerless. The helplessness of having his life and death controlled by someone else made Night Sorrow feel resentful. Suppressing his anger, he coldly said, "I wonder what the two of you are here for." Ever since he started cultivating, Night Sorrow had experienced setbacks and oppression, but he had never been so humiliated like today. He swore in his heart that if he didn't die today, he would quickly become stronger and kill this so-called high god Ling Yun so that his family would never be bullied again. He. There was one tactful person. "Are you the cultivator who created the world and successfully ascended to the god realm? Since you're already crippled, I'll pardon you for not kneeling." The corners of Ling Yun's mouth carried an evil smile as he looked at Yi Shang with a mocking gaze. He thought to himself, "You're just a lower realm dragon and phoenix. In front of me, you're still trash like an ant. Today, I will take away all the opportunities that belong to you. I don't know what creating the world is, but I did just ascend." The pale-faced Night Sorrow replied, but his heart was filled with hatred and indignation. As a realm master and human emperor, how could he swallow such humiliation? If not for his family, Night Sorrow would have chosen to die together with them. "That's right, it's you. You created the world and ascended, so the origin of the god realm will reward you. When the origin of the god realm descends, you have to give me the opportunity. Otherwise, everyone here will die," Ling Yun threatened coldly. As one of the top 10 subordinates of the Purple Mansion Divine Lord, if he could absorb the reward from the origin of the God Realm, he might become a Divine Lord. In the God Realm was divided into Feather God, High God, Divine Lord, and Divine King. Each God Realm was further divided into Lower, Middle, and High. Night Sorrow, who had just ascended, was a Lower Feather God. Ling Yun was a High God. There was a difference of 5 levels between them. "I agree, but you have to swear to ensure the safety of my family. Otherwise, I'd rather die together with them," Night Sorrow said coldly. His family was his bottom line. "Swear?" "Sure. They're just a bunch of ants. Their lives have nothing to do with me. I, Ling Yun, swear." Ling Yun casually swore. "When the auspicious sign descends, resist it with all your strength. Don't absorb any of it." It's coming." Suddenly, Ling Yun's eyes lit up. At this moment, gentle golden energy floated over from the horizon and surrounded Yi Shang. "If I absorb it all, not only will I recover from my injuries, but my cultivation will also increase." The golden energy was extremely pure, and being surrounded by it made one feel comfortable. This originally belonged to Yi Shang, but now he could only harden his heart and resist it, not absorbing a single bit. "Ha! You know your place." The pure energy radiance was resisted by Night Sorrow and floated away bit by bit. Ling Yun's face was full of enjoyment as he absorbed it. Lapis Lazuli was envious, but she didn't dare to do anything. She was obviously afraid of Ling Yun. The origin of the godly world is indeed extraordinary. After absorbing it completely, Ling Yun looked up to the sky and roared. Then, his expression changed. He looked at Night Sorrow and said, "You must have extraordinary talent to be able to ascend from the lower realm. I can spare your life, but I can't give you a chance to take revenge." As he spoke, Ling Yun raised his hand and pointed viciously. He wanted to destroy Night Sorrow's energy center and turn him into a cripple. B*****. Even though Night Sorrow had been through countless storms, he felt like his heart was being stabbed by a knife. There was a huge difference in their cultivation levels. Ling Yun could indeed cripple him with a wave of his hand. Night Sorrow, who had no ability to resist, could only use his remaining energy to protect his energy center. Night Sorrow. At this moment, Wu Lingfei, who was standing beside Night Sorrow, suddenly let out a phoenix cry and turned into a golden phoenix. She used the essence of her energy, which was her wings, to protect Night Sorrow. Even though Wu Lingfei was a big shot in the celestial realm, she couldn't withstand a blow from a godly god. Her wings were instantly smashed into a bloody mess, and her origin was directly damaged. Auntie Fei, why are you so silly? No matter how big the matter is, Night Sorrow, will take it on. Night Sorrow roared like an injured beast as he looked at Wu Lingfei, who was dying and covered in blood. Wu Lingfei had stood up for Night Sorrow many times since he started cultivating. Now that he was a god, Night Sorrow felt like his heart was being torn apart. Ha! If you want to take it on, I'll fulfill your wish. Ling Yun smiled. He enjoyed the feeling of controlling life and death. However, just as Ling Yun was about to make a move, Lu Li, who was floating in the air and wearing a red robe, said, "Husband. Look at that golden phoenix. What's there to see about an ant?" Ling Yun said unhappily. "Sir Divine Lord's birthday is in 800 years. Isn't husband lacking a gift that can satisfy Sir Divine Lord? I see that this golden phoenix has a pure bloodline. There aren't many phoenixes with such a bloodline in the entire godly world. Moreover, she is a virgin. She can be given to Sir Divine Lord." Lu Li's eyes flashed. Wu Lingfei's sudden outburst had been seen through by Lu Li. Yes. 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 Sir Divine Lord's original body is a sky-devouring sparrow. It's best to give this golden phoenix to Sir Divine Lord. Lu Li, you didn't let me down. Chapter 2364. Each of the top 100 experts on the Divine Lord ranking was famous in the Divine Realm. They had the chance to become the Divine King. Ordinary Divine Lords couldn't compare to them. Ling Yun was both respectful and afraid of the Purple Mansion Divine Lord. Naturally, he wanted to curry favor with him. This bitch's injuries are too severe. I'm afraid it won't be easy to save her. But if I can make the Divine Lord happy, it'll be worth it even if I have to use some pills. Wu Lingfei couldn't withstand a high god's attack. She lay on the ground in a bloody mess, her body corroded by divine power. If she wasn't treated, she would soon die. Ling Yun didn't delay. He used his divine power to put Wu Lingfei into his spatial artifact and fled with azurite. He didn't even attack Night Sorrow. Clearly, he didn't want to waste that moment. Auntie Fei. Yi Shang swears that he will definitely become stronger and save you in one piece. Ling Yun, you treat me like an ant today. Night Sorrow, will repay you 100-fold. Though they'd escaped disaster, Night Sorrow felt like a knife had cut his heart. If anything had happened to Wu Lingfei, his Dao heart would have been shattered. Fortunately, the Purple Mansion Divine Lord's birthday was in 800 years. This meant that Wu Lingfei would be safe in the short term. However, advancing to the Divine Realm was much more difficult than advancing to the Emperor Realm or the Imperial Tribulation Realm. Thus, 800 years was a short time. Grandfather, Sister Xian, Shaluo. I'll heal you as soon as possible. As for that Ling Yun, I'll kill him. No one can humiliate the Yi family. No matter if he's a high god or a divine lord, he'll have to pay the price. Wu Lingfei's situation was worrying for the future. Yi Linghuan, Lin Piaomiao, and Yi Xiaoluo's injuries were worrying for the immediate future. Night Sorrow couldn't help but comfort them when he scanned them with his divine sense. Yi Linghuan, Lin Piaomiao, and Yi Xiaoluo's condition wasn't as simple as their dantians being destroyed. More importantly, Ling Yun's divine power remained in their dantians, corroding them like poison. If he wanted to expel the divine power and repair the dantian of several people, he would need very high-grade divine elixirs or natural treasures. If he delayed for too long, his life would be in danger. Sister Xian, believes in you. Don't give yourself too much pressure, and don't take unnecessary risks. The God world is not simple. After being sent into the clear sky pagoda, Lin Piaomiao, whose face was as pale as a sheet of paper, began to earnestly instruct Yi Qingyu. There were too many experts in the divine world, and danger was everywhere. She was worried that Night Sorrow wouldn't be able to change his mindset. She had previously used the name Lin Xian but Night Sorrow still called her sister Xian Big sister Xian don't worry. I understand the principle of survival of the fittest. I won't be arrogant. After chatting with Lin Piaomiao for a while, Lu Yu, who was accompanying Yi Xiaoluo, was comforted by Night Sorrow before he began to heal himself. Even with the Clear Sky Pagoda's acceleration, it took 2 years for Night Sorrow to fully recover from his injuries. After fully recovering, Night Sorrow found a secluded valley and set up a defensive array. He called everyone out from the Clear Sky Pagoda and said, "This is the first time we've come to the God world. Everyone knows nothing. Today, I'll set off to scout for information and find some opportunities. I've already set up a defensive array here. Although it's not a divine array, the surrounding demonic beasts can still block it. After I find the divine array diagrams and materials, I'll set up this place as our stronghold in the God world." He didn't have the slightest understanding of the God world. He didn't even know how the God realm was divided. He didn't have any God realm cultivation techniques or absolute arts, divine pill recipes, or array diagrams. He didn't know how to obtain the power of virtue, and he also didn't know how to upgrade the myriad Tao Tome and heavenly halberd of samsara. It wasn't easy to become stronger quickly. Night Sorrow understood that he couldn't afford any delays. "Husband, I'll go with you," Datura said. She was very worried that Night Sorrow would have an accident. In the end, Night Sorrow refused and left after a few words. Datura wasn't in the God realm and was like a celestial being. It would be easy for him to get into trouble if he showed himself in public. The energy in the God world was more condensed. The speed of flight was twice as slow as in the celestial realm. After 4 days, Night Sorrow found a city by the sea called North Sea City. This city was grand and imposing. The area it occupied was millions of times larger than Sky City. When he entered the city, 2 armored guards demanded 5 divine crystals. Night Sorrow knew that this was the rule. He took out a demonic core he obtained from killing a demonic beast on the way and said, "I don't have any divine crystals. Will this demonic core do?" The demonic wolf Night Sorrow killed was half a step into the God realm. Its demonic core was worth at least 30 divine crystals. The 2 guards naturally let him pass. "This guy is so generous and doesn't know anything. He must be a hothead who just entered the world. Why don't we sell this information to the High God Styx? Isn't he looking everywhere for feather gods without any support?" One of the guards said after Night Sorrow left. "None of the helpers the High God Styx finds have a good ending. Wouldn't it be a crime to introduce them to him?" The other guard said. "Who cares? It's fine as long as someone pays us divine crystals. If we don't earn more divine crystals, we won't be able to become gods," the guard said indifferently. The 2 of them used a secret method unique to the God world to transmit their voices. Night Sorrow didn't notice. At this time, he was using his divine soul to investigate the situation in the city. It turned out that the God world was similar to the chaotic world. There were many shops in the city, such as alchemy shops, weapon refineries, restaurants, teahouses, and even playhouses and brothels. However, the cultivation environment was different. The cultivators in the God world were stronger. It was almost impossible to find anyone below the king realm in the city. Experts in the God realm could be seen everywhere. Divine crystals were similar to the spirit stones in the chaotic world, but they contained more energy and were more valuable. After entering the city, the penniless Night Sorrow found a shop and sold a few half-step God realm beast cores for 200 divine crystals. He bought some books and maps of the God world. Only now did Yi Shang understand just how strong Ling Yun and the Zifu Divine Lord were, and just how great the gap was between them. He knew just how many cultivation levels he would have to cross in 800 years. It was as difficult as ascending to the heavens. As for how to treat Yi Linghuan, Lin Piaomiao, and Yi Xiaoluo, Night Sorrow didn't find out. The most important thing now is how to get a God realm cultivation technique. Without an immortal realm cultivation method, it was naturally impossible to increase one's cultivation. Sitting in a restaurant, Yi Shang listened to the stories of many legendary figures and thought about the first step he should take after arriving in the immortal realm. In the center of Hai Bei City, there was a huge cultivator market. Not only were there all kinds of shops in the market, there were also stalls. This made Yi Shang think back to his initial experience in the heaven realm. He secretly thought that with his ability to concoct pills, refine tools, and set up formations, he would be able to quickly accumulate experience. An even faster way to earn resources was to accept missions from the Wuji Pavilion or the Umbra Hall. The rewards for accepting missions from the Mercenary Guild in Hai Bei City were not as good as those two places. However, he could get some points from the guild and get a corresponding discount when exchanging for items in the future. Chapter 2365. The market in Hai Bei City was called the Sea and Sky Bazaar. There were all kinds of shops. There were nearly 100,000 stalls for cultivators to set up stalls, so there were many empty spots. When they arrived at the bazaar, Knight Sorrow found a white-robed law enforcement captain named Lu Jiangtian. He handed over 100 divine crystals and successfully signed a 1-year lease contract. The owner of the Sea and Sky Bazaar was Shengguan Yun, the city lord of Hai Bei City. The bazaar was the same as Hai Bei City. There was a law enforcement team. If there was a dispute, they could use force, but there had to be a valid reason. In addition, there was a commission and other related matters. Even if they paid the rent, they had to hand over 10% of the earned resources. It's easy to earn resources as a city lord. But it's a bit despicable to squeeze low-level cultivators to make money. Knight Sorrow couldn't help but mutter in his heart as he was led to the stall by a king realm attendant. If he were the city lord, he wouldn't take the 10% bonus. Although the Feather God and the Supreme God were both in the immortal realm, they were two completely different realms. Knight Sorrow didn't like the city lord's behavior. After all, he was no match for him. Oh, there's a newcomer. He's a mid-level immortal realm expert. As soon as Knight Sorrow arrived at the stall, a yellow-robed old man at the left side of the stall looked at him with interest. This yellow-robed old man was half a step away from the immortal realm. He had a sage-like appearance and was setting up a fortune-telling stall. He asked with a smile, "Sir, you're an immortal realm expert. Why are you still here?" There weren't many immortal realm experts setting up stalls in the Sea and Sky Bazaar. There were less than 100 people, but there were many who ran shops. "I'm Knight Sorrow. I've just cultivated to the Feather God realm and came out of the wilderness. I'm short of resources, so I have no choice but to set up a stall here. Brother, just call me by my name. It's my first time here, please take care of me." Yi Shang politely replied as he didn't slap a smiling face. "Lord Knight Sorrow, ignore that old bastard. He's nicknamed Old Swindler. He's a middle-level feather god and likes to pretend to be weak to take advantage of others. Swindling, whatever." At this moment, a fat cultivator who looked to be in his 20s was standing at a stall to the right of Knight Sorrow. His cultivation level was half a step away from immortal state. His stall was selling miscellaneous items such as books, elixirs, tools, materials, and herbs. However, the quality of the items was mediocre. Bah! How could you say that? I, Xian Jizi, was born with a kind heart. How am I a swindler? The old man, Xian Jizi, retorted. It's fine. It's fate that brought us together. How should I address you, brother? Knight Sorrow asked casually. However, the name Xian Jizi reminded him of an old friend, and he quickly recovered. "Lord Knight Sorrow. My name is Niu Patian, a human form of the Yao clan," the fat cultivator replied respectfully. "Brother, your name is quite domineering. You don't have to stand on ceremony. Just call me by my name like you do. Why don't you two try the wine I brought from my hometown?" Knight Sorrow took out 2 jars of wine brewed by Aoi from his storage space and gave them to Xian Jizi and Niu Patian. He was not in a hurry to set up his stall because Knight Sorrow was using his divine sense to observe the market. He was investigating the stalls selling elixirs, weapons, and array formations. He wanted to understand the basic market conditions and find a suitable price. Good wine. Although this wine was brewed in a primitive way, it's strong enough. It's a wine for men. I like it. Neopodian gulped down the wine and praised. It's indeed good wine. It's hard to find such pure wine in the immortal realm. Xianjizi sighed and asked, Brother Knight Sorrow, what are you going to sell? Selling my skills. I'm just trying to get something for nothing. Knight Sorrow, who had finished drinking the wine in the jar, was almost done with his research. He wrote on the stall, Immortal Realm Alchemist, Weapon Refiner, Array Formation Master. We accept all kinds of business at a discounted price. There were less than 100 Immortal Realm cultivators setting up stalls in the Ocean Sky Grand Bazaar. Among them, there were very few Immortal Realm alchemists, weapon refiners, and array formation masters. The competition was not fierce, and Knight Sorrow's price was reasonable. The Immortal Realm alchemy and array formation business required the buyer to provide the blueprint, so the price was very low. It was 21%, which meant that the buyer provided 2 sets of materials and guaranteed 1 set of finished products. If both sets of materials failed, the buyer would have to pay the full price. The Immortal Realm alchemy and array formation business and all weapon refiners business were 31%. As long as the materials were in place, the weapon refiner could make a divine artifact. There was no need for blueprints. It was related to the weapon refiner's cultivation and attributes. Oh. Brother Knight Sorrow, you're an Immortal Realm alchemist, weapon refiner, and array formation master. Amazing, amazing. With your skills, you can go to the City Lord Mansion and have a good future. Why are you setting up a stall here? Xianjizi's eyes flashed. A Immortal Realm cultivator like Knight Sorrow had a bright future. He wanted to make friends with him. I'm a lazy person by nature, and I don't want to be controlled. I like to be free and unrestrained, Knight Sorrow said with a smile. That makes sense. Neopodian nodded in agreement. In fact, he was the same as Xianjizi. He didn't have any background, but he was happy to be free. Xianjizi continued, that makes sense. But Brother Knight Sorrow, everyone likes to find familiar faces to do alchemy and weapon refiners. You're new here, so I'm afraid business won't be easy. That's true. Everything is difficult at the beginning. On the first day of Knight Sorrow's stall, many cultivators came to check and ask about it, but no business took place. It was still the same on the second day. On the third day, Xianjizi finished reading a cultivator's fortune and walked to Knight Sorrow. He smiled and said, Brother Knight Sorrow. What do you think? I'll provide you with a set of materials. Can you help your elder brother improve the quality of this compass? If it can be improved to the immortal realm, I won't have to worry about business in the future. If it can't be improved, I won't need you to compensate me. Old liar, when did you become so generous? You're not planning something again, are you? Neopodian was immediately suspicious. When he first came to the market, Xianjizi had almost cheated him of all his wealth. Scram, what do you know? Xianjizi replied angrily and explained, Brother Knight Sorrow, you don't need to think too much. I just want to form good karma. Okay. I'll take it. To Knight Sorrow, who didn't have any immortal realm materials, this was undoubtedly a timely help. He remembered this favor and agreed without hesitation. These are the materials I need. Outer realm frost iron, dragon tortoise shell, infinite mysterious ice jade, Xianjizi was overjoyed. To him, this was killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Brother Knight Sorrow. I've accumulated some immortal realm materials, but I don't need them for now. I'll give them to you for practice. Neopodian knew Xianjizi's character well. He was completely powerless, so he immediately joined in. What are you doing here? Chapter 2366. Alright, since it's your kind intentions, I'll accept them. Night Sorrow was not a greedy person. However, the materials that Neopatian gave him were purple gold divine stones. They were just enough to upgrade the 8-dragon cauldron. The 8-dragon cauldron was Night Sorrow's treasure. It was necessary to upgrade it to the divine grade. He had to accept the materials and owe them a favor. I wonder how difficult it is to upgrade the 8-dragon cauldron in the divine world. After all, this was Night Sorrow's first time forging an artifact in the god realm, so he could only feel his way through. However, he soon discovered that without the suppression of the divine Tao regulations, the difficulty of forging a divine artifact wasn't too high. Soon, the 8-dragon cauldron, which had been upgraded to a quasi-divine artifact, was forged. It was called a quasi-divine grade artifact because a real divine grade artifact had to go through a lightning tribulation. After a while, tribulation clouds gathered in the sky. The heavenly tribulation lightning struck one after another. What Xian Jizi and Neopatian did not expect was that the 8-dragon cauldron would receive 3 lightning tribulation clouds. It turned out that they had enough materials. In addition, Night Sorrow had the space-time attribute. During the refining process, he added the space-time attribute to the 8-dragon cauldron. Among the 3 lightning tribulations, the first one was for the divine grade artifact. The second and third ones were for the space-time attribute and the space-time attribute. 3 lightning tribulations. Xian Jizi and Neopatian were excited. It's done. Seeing the lightning tribulation, Night Sorrow was overjoyed. Others might be afraid of the lightning tribulation, but he was not. He carried the 8-dragon cauldron and soared into the sky. Awesome! It's a pity that the lightning tribulation is too weak. Night Sorrow had cultivated the myriad Daos treasured tome and strengthened his body with the everlasting body tempering art. It was not difficult for him to withstand the lightning tribulation with his body. He passed the lightning tribulation quickly. However, the 8-dragon cauldron was upgraded after the lightning tribulation. It did not have much to do with him. Night Sorrow's strength did not improve. Brother Night Sorrow. Come, take this divine grade chi replenishing pill. After Night Sorrow passed the lightning tribulation, Xian Jizi immediately took out a pill. Brother Night Sorrow. Come, take this divine grade pill from me. Neopatian took out a divine grade pill as well. There's no need for the pill. I'm fine. Yi Shang wasn't the type to take advantage of others. Since he had nothing to do, he naturally wouldn't accept their kindness. After adjusting his breathing for a while, Yi Shang stood up and roared, "Cauldron, come." The 8-dragon cauldron, which had fallen to the ground, suddenly let out a dragon's roar and flew in front of Yi Shang to help him refine Xian Jizi's compass. This time, the crowd was several times more than before. After all, it was rare to see a blacksmith who could forge 3 Thunder Tribulation divine tools in front of everyone. What they didn't know was that Night Sorrow only added the space and time attributes because he didn't have enough raw materials and also because he was hiding his true abilities. He had the beginning and reincarnation attributes, the 2 taboo attributes. If he really went all out, who knew what kind of effect he could produce? In order to upgrade Xian Jizi's compass, Night Sorrow also added the space and time attributes. However, transcending the tribulation was Xian Jizi's business. After that, Xian Jizi took the compass and went through the tribulation together. He was not as domineering as Night Sorrow, who had used all of his trump cards to barely pass through the tribulation lightning. His body had almost been shattered. Ha ha ha. I, Xian Jizi, actually have 3 Thunder Tribulation feathers. And it's even fused with the time and space attributes. Brother Night Sorrow, quickly accept a bow from your big brother. Xian Jizi cut a sorry figure after being struck by the lightning tribulation, but he was quite excited. After getting up, he bowed to Night Sorrow. The strength of a divine artifact of the feather god level depended on how many lightning tribulations it had to go through. Under normal circumstances, the highest was 9 lightning tribulations, but a forbidden divine artifact could go beyond that. Brother, you don't have to be so polite with me. Night Sorrow helped Xian Jizi up, then looked at the envious Neopatian and said, Brother Patian, no need to be envious. When I have accumulated enough materials, I will also refine a divine artifact for you. But your cultivation is only half a step away from the immortal state now. I'm afraid that the divine artifact might not be easy to use. Neopodian looked to be about 20 years old, but he had been cultivating for many years. Night Sorrow really could not call him brother. Thank you, Brother Night Sorrow. Patian will work hard to improve his cultivation. Neopodian did not mind. He felt that the strong were respected. After thanking him, he said in a low voice, Brother Night Sorrow, you are very resourceful. Your business will definitely not be bad. But you have to be careful of the white-robed law enforcement captain, Lu Jiangtian. He is a master who eats people without spitting out the bones. Thank you for the reminder. Night Sorrow did not pay too much attention to it. In the world of cultivators, news spread very quickly. Today, he had refined 3 Thunder Tribulation divine artifacts, which would definitely bring him a lot of fame. Even if he did not stay in the Sea-Sky Bazaar, business would still come to him. He was not afraid of the law enforcement at all. Then, Xian Jizi entered the space world of the compass and used the time acceleration to heal his injuries. Neopodian decided to close his stall and help Yichang. Although he looked fat, he was very professional when it came to taking orders and settling accounts. He didn't make any mistakes. With the promotion of 3 Thunder Tribulation divine artifacts, Night Sorrow's business was very good. He did not stop refining for 9 months. He refined 4 Thunder Tribulation divine artifacts with 3 Thunder Tribulation divine artifacts, 7 Thunder Tribulation divine artifacts with 2 Thunder Tribulation divine artifacts, and more than 10 Thunder Tribulation divine artifacts with 1 Thunder Tribulation divine artifact. As for those below the immortal level, he could not count them. Alchemy business was all for elixirs below the immortal level because no one was willing to take out the blueprints of immortal level elixirs. As for array formation business, he did not receive any. Whether it was refining or refining elixirs, Night Sorrow's success rate was 100%. He had accumulated a lot of immortal level materials. He estimated that these materials were enough to set up a feather god level defensive array formation in the valley. He only lacked the immortal level blueprints and a complete set of immortal level demon beast bones. The immortal level demon beast bones were not necessary to set up an array, but it was equivalent to having another immortal level demon beast guarding the mountain. It was very necessary to get one. Do you know how to find a complete set of immortal level demon beast bones? It would be best if they were of the upper feather god level, and even better if they were of the high god level. Also, what is the price of the immortal level blueprints? After 9 months of continuous work, Night Sorrow, who had exhausted his energy, stopped taking orders and prepared to rest for a few days. He would return to the valley to take a look and send some cultivation resources to his clansmen. Before he left, he would make some preparations. Immortal level blueprints and complete sets of immortal level demon beast bones are rare in High Bay City. They may appear in the auction house occasionally, but the price is quite expensive. Xian Jizi explained and continued, especially the immortal level blueprints. Every time they appear, they will be auctioned for a sky-high price, even higher than immortal level cultivation techniques. After a few months of interaction, Xian Jizi and Neopodian understood that Night Sorrow did not have any immortal level crystals on him. He did not even have any immortal level cultivation techniques or absolute arts. All he had were the materials he obtained from refining equipment. He was not very rich, so it was not easy to get a immortal level blueprints or immortal level demon beast bones. It seems like it is not easy to set up a immortal level defensive array formation. Night Sorrow muttered to himself. In fact, it was not only the immortal level blueprints that were hard to obtain. The various forces, sects, and clans in the divine world all valued cultivation techniques, absolute arts, and elixir recipes very highly. Master Night Sorrow, do you need a complete set of immortal level demon beast bones and immortal level blueprints? This one may be able to help. Chapter 2367. How should I address you? Night Sorrow asked as he sized up the male cultivator. He was a high-tier feather god. I am Situlai. I have come to bring you a great opportunity, Grand Master Night Sorrow. The male cultivator cupped his hands. What opportunity? Yi Shan asked. He didn't believe that there was such a thing as a free lunch. At that moment, Xian Jizi used a secret technique to send a message to Night Sorrow. Brother Night Sorrow. This Situlai is a subordinate of High God Styx. In the past 30 years, High God Styx has recruited many feather gods. These feather god realm loose cultivators all disappeared after being recruited. Don't promise Situlai anything. There's such a thing. It seems that this so-called great opportunity is actually a great danger. Night Sorrow was on guard, but he didn't reject Situlai directly. Instead, he asked, Brother Situ, what is this great opportunity you speak of? You can tell me directly. Wu Ling concubine had been taken away, and Yi Linghuan, Lin Piaomiao, and Yi Xiaoluo were still waiting for treatment. Yi Shang, who was desperate for resources, wanted to hear what had happened. Of course, I can be frank. Situlai nodded slightly and sent a message to Night Sorrow. Grandmaster Night Sorrow, I won't hide it from you. My Lord Styx discovered a cave abode 30 years ago. This cave abode was left behind by the divine Lord Jinyuan. His inheritance is not to be underestimated. However, the divine Lord Jinyuan set up a special restriction that only feather gods can enter. It was my Lord Styx's idea to bring you here. Are the wandering cultivators of the divine feather realm who have gone missing in recent years related to this cave? Yi Shang asked directly. That's true. It was because of the sacrifice of these feather gods that my lord was able to learn about the cave abode. Situlai explained, then continued, the divine Lord Jinyuan is not only powerful, but he is also skilled in formations and alchemy. His inheritance is very rich. There is more than one set of divine-level Yao skeletons here. As for the divine feather realm cultivators who had died in the cave abode, they were only there to test the waters. The strongest among them was only a mid-level divine feather realm cultivator, and there was no formation master among them. The next time they entered, there would be a dozen or so high-tier feather gods leading the team, as well as several array masters. If Master Night Sorrow joins us, our chances of success will be much higher. If I go, what's the reward? How should we distribute the resources we found? Situlai talked non-stop. He was a powerful lobbyist. Night Sorrow had to admit from the bottom of his heart that the pill formulas and array diagrams were very tempting to him. If he could really find a divine lord level pill formula, then maybe there would be a way to heal Yi Linghuan, Lin Piaomiao, and Yi Xiaoluo's injuries. The issue of rewards and resource allocation is decided by my High God Styx. I'm just a lobbyist. However, at the end of the day, rewards and resources were distributed according to one's ability. If Master can display extraordinary abilities in front of my lord, then the reward will be very generous. In Situlai's eyes, Night Sorrow was only a low-level divine feather realm cultivator. His strength was negligible. His value was reflected in alchemy and formations. Breaking into the cave abode of others was very dangerous, so alchemists and formation masters were very useful. Night Sorrow naturally understood the meaning behind his words. He was also happy that his strength was ignored. The more he was underestimated, the harder it was for him to be targeted. After pondering for a moment, Night Sorrow said, I understand. I need to think about it seriously. I'll give you an answer in a month. Good. In a month, I'll bring you to see Lord Styx. If you need anything, Master Night Sorrow can tell my lord. Goodbye. Situlai saw that things were looking good. He left behind a message crystal and left happily. The world was bustling with activity for profit, and it was even more so for cultivators. Situlai believed that Night Sorrow would not reject him in the end. Brother Night Sorrow, you mustn't be rash. With your ability, you can easily establish yourself in High Bay City. There's no need to take risks. I heard that High God Styx is temperamental and has a bad reputation. Cooperating with him is like asking a tiger for its skin. After Situlai left, Night Sorrow told Xian Jizi and Neopodian about this matter. Xian Jizi's expression immediately became serious. Neopodian also said worriedly, "There are so many Divine Feather Realm cultivators in Hai Bei City, but Situ Lai chose you. There must be something fishy about this. I'll consider this matter carefully. Also, I'll be leaving for a few days. If there's any business, please help me take it." Night Sorrow understood that Situ Lai came to him because he had the ability to refine pills, set up formations, and break formations. Moreover, he was a loose cultivator and was easy to control. Night Sorrow was naturally inclined to go, but in the end, he still had to meet High God Styx to make a decision. After leaving the stall, Night Sorrow went to the cultivator's shop to sell some of the divine-grade materials. He bought materials to upgrade the Clear Sky Pagoda, Blood Shield and Evil Slaying Spear, and Reincarnation Halberd, as well as cultivation resources suitable for cultivators below the Divine Realm. The Clear Sky Pagoda, Blood Shield and Evil Slaying Spear, and Reincarnation Halberd were divine artifacts in the lower realm. However, due to the suppression of the heavenly Tao, there was a big gap between them and true divine artifacts. After buying the materials, Night Sorrow stepped on the road back to the valley. If he went to explore the cave, he did not know when he would return. He had to inform his clansmen first and give them cultivation resources at the same time. On the way back, in a remote mountain, Night Sorrow used 9 days to upgrade the Clear Sky Pagoda, Blood Shield and Evil Slaying Spear, and Reincarnation Halberd into true divine artifacts. The Clear Sky Pagoda was a fusion of time and space attributes. It was a divine artifact with 3 Thunder Tribulation feathers. The Blood Shield and Evil Slaying Spear was a fusion of time, space, life, and death attributes. It was a combination of time, space, life, and death attributes. It was a divine artifact with 5 Thunder Tribulation feathers. As for the Reincarnation Halberd, it was a fusion of reincarnation attributes. It was a combination of destruction, time, and infinity attributes. Because it was a taboo attribute, it was a divine artifact with 10 Thunder Tribulation feathers. Night Sorrow used his body to withstand the Thunder Tribulation of the Clear Sky Pagoda and Blood Shield and Evil Slaying Spear. However, the Thunder Tribulation of the Reincarnation Halberd caused him to suffer light injuries. However, the injuries were not serious. He recovered quickly in the Clear Sky Pagoda. Not good. Someone is attacking the valley. On this day, when there was still some distance from the valley, Night Sorrow suddenly felt his heart palpitate. He could feel that someone was destroying the defensive formation. The attacker should be a Divine Realm cultivator. He immediately used the Void Step Spacetime Realm. At this time, outside the valley, a middle-level feather god with a pale face was breaking the formation with brute force. He was wearing bright clothes and had an evil smile on his face. He shouted, "Little ladies, don't be afraid without the protection of a Divine Realm expert. In the future, I, Shangguan Lin, will be your backer." Just now, Datura and Shueshi brought a few juniors to drink tea in the valley. Shangguan Lin, who was passing by in the air, just happened to see them. He was immediately shocked. Evil thoughts immediately arose in his heart. He did not know about formations, so he attacked with brute force. What to do? This person is a Divine Realm expert. We can't resist at all. The formation that husband set up probably won't last long either. Chapter 2368. Auntie, don't be afraid. We men will hold them off. Auntie and sisters, take the women and escape first. Yi Xiaokei was Night Sorrow's youngest child, but he didn't back down at this crucial moment. He stood in front of them full of fighting spirit. Yes. Auntie, leave first. Yi Lingxi wasn't good with words, but she stood out as well. What are you running for? The women of the Yi family aren't afraid of death. At most, we'll die to show our sincerity. Your father will avenge us. The hot-tempered Yang Lei roared. Yes. At most, we'll die. Let's fight it out with this fellow. Yi Qingyan agreed. Ha ha ha. Show our sincerity with death. You won't have such a chance. Next, I'll show you the power of a god. Accompanied by wild laughter, a hole was blasted in the formation. Shangguan appeared in front of everyone in the blink of an eye. He released his god-level vital energy, causing everyone to be unable to stand up, let alone attack. The Divine Feather Realm was much stronger than the Divine Soul Unification Realm or the Imperial Tribulation Realm. They were on a completely different level. That day, Lin Piaomiao and Yi Xiaolue were able to attack because he didn't release his aura. Today, under Shangguan pressure, the Night Moon clan members truly felt the difference between them. If we don't die, we must become stronger. Yi Xiaoke clenched his teeth. We're not ants. We can't just be a burden. Yi Lingxi was the same. Actually, this was also the voice of the Yi family members. They were extremely glorious in the lower world. How could they tolerate a life of being bullied? Even if this was the divine world, they couldn't. Beautiful. This beauty has the spirit of a king who covets the world. Shangguan smiled evilly at Datura, then looked greedily at Yi Xiaolei. This one is not bad either. She has a stubborn spirit. I like to tame this kind of unruly person. Looking at them one by one, Shangguan praised, beautiful, so beautiful. All of them are outstanding beauties. Today, I have more than 10 beauties to enjoy. I'm blessed. Xikong Chuyu, Xueshi, and the others who were swept by Shangguan gaze felt as if they had goosebumps all over their bodies. They felt extremely uncomfortable, but they had no ability to resist. They couldn't even die even if they wanted to. This made them feel helpless. Shameless. Bastard. Yi Shang's father, Yi Wuyo, was suppressed to the point where he had to burn his essence blood before cursing. Shameless after a few glances. Beast after a few words. Next, I'll show you what a real shameless beast is. Shangguan laughed evilly. What do you want? SSSTSSTest. Who are you? He's, uses, STSTSST. Spoil your plans? You can say that because you're going to die today. He had been humiliated by Ling Yun as soon as he had arrived in the God realm. From that moment on, Yi Shang, who had been extremely depressed, had sworn that he would not let any harm come to his family. If he had not coincidentally returned today, the consequences would have been unimaginable. His anger had already exploded uncontrollably. Night Sorrow didn't want to waste his breath on this beast. He used the void steps to teleport in front of his people, condensed his vital energy, and attacked with the blood Qilin evil-slaying spear. You're overestimating yourself. Since you're looking for death, I'll deal with you first before taking care of these beauties. Shangguan didn't panic in the face of Night Sorrow's attack. He took out a long halberd from his spatial artifact and faced it head-on. As a mid-level feather god, Shangguan had absolute confidence in himself. He didn't believe that this low-level feather god could compete with him in terms of strength. You're looking for death. Do you think you're fit to call yourself Lord? Night Sorrow said disdainfully when he saw that Shangguan chose to meet force with force. He didn't know any god-tier secret arts, but he had 2 forbidden attributes. His body had cultivated the 10,000 Tao Tome, and he had the power of merit to protect him. His strength and body were far stronger than ordinary low-level feather gods. Boom! Both of them chose to use their strength to attack. After the collision, Shangguan body flew backward rapidly and was directly blasted out of the valley. How can this be? His strength is so terrifying. Is he still a low-level feather god? Shangguan was shocked as he flew backward. He didn't expect the difference in strength between them to be so great. This person's strength is extraordinary. I'm afraid he's on par with some high-level feather gods. I have to use my treasure to fight or use my secret arts. You want to use your secret arts? It's too late. Night Sorrow had fought all the way from Bamboo Garden Village to the Divine World. He had rich combat experience and wouldn't give his opponent any chance. He used the blood Qilin evil-slaying spear's attributes to attack. Space-time destruction / immeasurable clock. Protect. Shangguan Lin, who wanted to counterattack, could only summon a defensive treasure to defend himself. Shangguan Lin, who was passively defending, didn't expect that space-time destruction / was just a feint. When he used the immeasurable clock to protect himself with 2 thunder tribulation feathers, Night Sorrow sneered and used the Samsara halberd to launch a fatal attack. I'll let you feel the power of the forbidden reincarnation. The Samsara halberd, which had been upgraded to the 10 thunder tribulation feathers, could directly attack the divine soul. Without foundation and support in the divine world, Night Sorrow felt that he couldn't give his opponent any chance to ask for help in the battle. Without hesitation, he directly used his strongest trump card and shattered Shangguan Lin's divine soul in one move. This is the power of the forbidden attribute, the power of reincarnation. Shangguan Lin realized that he had offended a ruthless person. This was no ordinary low-level feather god at all. With his divine soul shattered and his life in danger, Shangguan Lin's face was ashen. He begged for mercy, "Sir, please spare my life. I'm the cousin of Shangguan Yun, the city lord of Haibei City. I'll compensate you for today's offense. Any amount of divine crystals will do." You want compensation? That's easy. Just destroy your divine soul. Night Sorrow would never show mercy to those who touched his reverse scale. He used the Samsara halberd again. Before he died, Shangguan Lin roared, "The Shangguan family will not let you go. You can't escape the Shangguan family's investigation if you kill me. You bullied my family. Even if the Divine King or the Juggernaut himself came, I, Night Sorrow, would still kill you. You're just a mid-level feather god in my eyes." As soon as Night Sorrow finished speaking, the energy from the Samsara halberd blasted Shangguan Lin, who had lost his protective chi, into pieces. A spatial artifact. Night Sorrow discovered that Shangguan Lin's spatial artifact was left behind. After checking, he found that Shangguan Lin was quite rich. Not to mention the immeasurable bell and the evil dragon halberd, there were no less than 50,000 divine crystals overflowing with spiritual energy. There were also various elixirs and refining materials piled up, including 3 divine-grade teleportation crystals. There were no divine-grade cultivation techniques or elixir recipes, but there were 5 or 6 bottles of divine-grade elixirs. However, to Night Sorrow's surprise, there was a divine-grade array diagram. There was also a black diamond-shaped token made of an unknown material. Night Sorrow did not figure out the use of this token, so he kept it in his spatial artifact. I really have to thank you. Night Sorrow thought.